battle through it. I gave.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced him.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover. It's powered by Everlevel Concrete and Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Good morning, boys.
Yes, it is. Hello.
How you doing? How you doing? I mean, it's 10:01, so we never get to break news. So we'll see what happens today.
Yeah, we will. You know,
you sitting on something?
You
no,
guys,
we broke the news that Shane Waldren got fired at
there you
Chicago
go.
Bears
See, you got something,
which benefits me.
I'm sure Nick had a reaction.
I did.
Oh man,
He
we're
was
just firing
so
OCs
excited.
left and right.
I know. And there's a lot of comparisons to Nebraska and Chicago Bears.
Big Bears overreaction.
Firing head coaches out, firing OCs in.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yep.
Florida State.
They got
Nebraska.
smaller buyouts.
Yeah, it's a new thing right now.
Or if you could repurpose your offensive coordinator to a tight ends coach, that
Yes.
works too.
$1.4 million for a tight end.
People forget we paid $500,000 for a special teams coordinator who was there half the time. Half the
Yeah,
day.
but we're also
part-time.
currently doing that, and he's there a lot, but he's not really doing anything.
Oh, he's
I
such a good
can't
guy.
wait for the day that Josh runs into the Husker fan that talks like Josh, the Husker fan that you mimic.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
He's
about.
going to he's going to meet a
He's
guy.
gonna run into Hank Hill.
Yes,
It's got a Hank Hill,
and
isn't
it's
it?
going to be glorious.
Because he'll go, oh wow, spot on impression of me. Thank you.
Wow, that's pretty good. I do talk like that.
Good self scout.
It's getting a little bit more Forrest Gump, probably.
It is. Mama said they'd take me anywhere.
Hey, you can go all over the map with this. You'll be like that Rhule fella. I got him. My name's Dana.
I just love playing ping pong with my Flexo-Lite ping pong paddle.
I just felt like running.
I was surprised on Veterans Day that I did not see Forrest Gump.
What do you
I
mean?
thought they might
Yeah,
go back
yeah.
to back with Saving Private Ryan and Forrest Gump.
And then
What movies did they show yesterday,
Saving
Josh?
Private Ryan was on Paramount.
What about like Platoon? Do they show that anymore? Platoon's everyone always talks about Full Metal Jacket, but I think Platoon's
better.
I agree. Willem Dafoe,
Really?
Tom Berenger, Jake Taylor.
Full Metal Jacket,
He's a
one
bad
of
guy in that.
one of the movies that everybody likes that I've actually seen.
First half of that movie is really good.
Yeah, the basic training.
And then
And then-
after
then they get to Nam.
the incident.
Yeah, when they go to Nam,
It's not very good.
when Joker grows his hair out, not the Joker, Matthew Modine Joker.
You guys have watched Yellowstone from Sunday night, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I read what happened.
Oh,
But you guys aren't Yellowstone
I
fans.
don't
I say
watch
that
the show.
sarcastically.
I gave up in somewhere in season 2.
You got to come back. We only have 5 more episodes.
I'm not
left.
coming back.
it's going to be. I think these last 5 are going to be.
They
I'm
had
not-
a major character who
Yeah.
was not going to be part of filming the last season.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm aware of that.
You're aware
All
of
right.
what happened?
So he has died.
They did
right?
him wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
They did him wrong.
Yeah,
Well,
that's like
obviously,
but that's a personal.
They
hey,
show the.
you're not back
you're
shooting with
not
us.
coming
Yeah.
back.
So how'd they kill him?
Committed suicide.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Spoiler
like,
alert.
yeah, that's like, okay, Tyler Sheridan, you are pissed at Costner.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's how I'm
you do it.
ending your run on a show. But he is the show.
Yep.
Now
it's
it
it's
made
Beth.
the transition to Beth.
Yeah. Now it's
But
Beth.
Kevin Costner was Yellowstone, and that's how they killed him off on the show.
That's
Now it's Beth versus Jamie
I-
with a little bit of Jimmy sprinkled in.
I love pettiness, and I'm
Yeah.
with it. Go that guy. What's the guy's name? Tyler
Sheridan.
Sheridan. Hell
Who-
yeah, good job by you.
Who I think every day has a new show that is out.
Every day I read that he has agreed to make a new show, and I'm like, how?
I know.
How? It has to be
Was
you
it-
just
was it bad?
your name on the top of the show.
that the little portion of John Dutton's body that they show, you're like, that's totally not. I mean,
Yeah, it was
that's
not
not
him.
Kevin
It's not
Costner. You can already tell. And they show like part of his stomach in an arm, and I'm like, that's not a Kevin Costner trademark arm or stomach. Sorry.
I know Kevin Costner's
Yeah.
arm when I see
That
it.
guy couldn't throw a perfect game.
Flashback. The movie would have been great without
I
the flashbacks.
will not be restarting that show. Thank you for the offer.
Oh man,
I appreciate that.
I'm reinvigorated after watching the rejoin. I'm excited.
Okay.
It's gonna be good. I
You're
don't know
just
what's
waiting and waiting.
I don't
and
know what's
waiting.
gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen.
They just keep the whole first, well, everything that I've watched was basically leading you to believe that, Costner's going to die at some point. He
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
die until season
You
5.
knew he would. You just didn't know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, when they show the scene like right at the beginning, and there's all the stadies and law enforcement at the governor's mansion, I thought maybe there was an assassination.
Oh, did he become the governor?
Yeah, he did.
That's
Yes.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
catch
You're
up.
only on 2.
I go on my blog and I do recaps. So I'll send you the link.
Really? I need your blog. Blog.
Yes.
Gary Sharp.
It's a vlog.
Blogspot.
Actually, it's a vlog.
Any in
This
this
video's-
room, Lord of the Rings fan? I just got
No.
an email.
No.
Okay.
You got an email
So-
regarding Lord of the Rings?
So Chad says,
Nerd.
he goes, I used to be a Lord of the Rings fan, but there's a character named Saruman who got into an argument with the writers and they wrote him out of the show. Like he just disappeared.
That's awesome.
Oh, see, you can't do that.
Didn't South Park kill Chef?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And there
true.
was a disagreement there between the
Well,
actor.
I think he wasn't there some off, wasn't there some other stuff with that voice actor or no?
Actually, you might be right, Connor.
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
but he
yes.
just that was kind of jarring.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so no
but
chef.
it is animated.
He did
you
not
know.
appreciate the way Scientology was portrayed on the show.
Oh, that's right.
And they said, "Oh, you don't like the way we're doing our jokes? Okay,
You're gone.
you're the joke now."
You're gone.
Yep.
See ya.
That's a little harsh.
They kill poor Kenny every episode.
They do.
What do they think they have against Kenny?
Yeah.
He was poor, so obviously.
Exactly.
Like, how do you think?
Get him out of there.
So let's say The Sopranos continued on and James Gandolfini passed away like he did.
Mhm.
Oh,
How do you think they would have written
yeah.
him out of the show?
You gotta,
he
you
would've
got to
been-
kill him.
He would have been whacked.
yeah,
It would have been a whacking.
But like in a
You think
really,
they would have allowed Tony to get killed?
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Or
would have
they
been
said he
the big
suffered a
omen.
heart attack or something.
Yeah, I still think they would have whacked them.
that's no way to go.
So-
know,
A heart attack?
You,
No,
you can't. I mean, that's how Vito died.
Yeah, that is true.
I think,
I still think it would have been a whacking.
or maybe he just gets in a car accident or something like that.
Still would have been a whack.
pretty questionable.
My
Yeah.
buddy Biggs,
Could have been a hit.
I think he's on your show today.
Yeah.
He said 2.5
Biggs.
Men when Charlie Sheen got into the argument.
Yeah.
And they went from Charlie Sheen to Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
And what was it? Charlie Sheen died.
He got
He
hit
felt-
by a
He got hit by
yeah,
a train in
it-
Paris or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
he-
like, okay. Alrighty. And then all of a
I
sudden,
see what's going on
then
here.
it's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. But he he was the same character.
Yes.
But just
Kind of, yeah.
that yeah.
You
I
couldn't
didn't
whack
really watch
Tony
that
on
shit.
Sopranos. He'd have to have. He went out to get his paper, and he had a heart attack. And then they
But-
had this
but
big
you don't-
funeral.
You don't have the character to go get the paper. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Fall on the
But-
ground.
Yeah.
So the one thing Yellowstone did is they bounced around the timeline
They
in their
did.
first episode.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
they fast forwarded from the last episode that aired like almost 2 years ago to, the governor's mansion, and this happened. Like this happened in the first 5 minutes
Yeah.
the other night.
That's good. Get it out of the way.
You got Beth rolling into the governor's mansion with all the stadies.
He's dead. We're moving on.
Yep.
Next.
Oh, it's
Can't
going to be
believe you
good.
Gave up on that show.
Yeah.
I can. That show sucked.
Although I don't think.
all the cowboy porn they have.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
Yeah, you guys are sickos.
Yeah,
they had
we got-
5 solid minutes of being a cowboy.
Got some.
That's why my wife likes this show.
You got
Okay.
some Lainey Wilson in there for a little bit.
I've heard that name. What's she do?
Country singer.
She's a country
She's
singer.
going
She
to be
was-
one of the
she
3
was-
CMA award show hosts next week. That's right. It's a show so big it needs 3 hosts.
She was just in Omaha.
By the way, it's on the 20th.
Saturday.
Way to go. Way to go,
Yeah.
Laney.
She was
Thank
at CHI.
Yes, because of your
Reset the
your
counter.
request, they've spread out the award shows. This is usually a little
I
bit
do
earlier
feel a
in
little
November.
responsible for that.
They have,
like
they,
to
have a
say
quarter,
we-
they have a quarterly
Yeah.
award show.
We have
now,
affected.
They're
real
on to
change.
us.
Yeah.
We have affected real change.
Okay, so with Dana, who will be a one-name OC guy.
He didn't refer to him as Holgo.
No, he didn't.
Kinda
But the overhit.
Quite easily. There was at
Yeah,
least.
To be fair, I didn't
Okay.
quite see that coming.
Hey, yeah, we probably
I
should
gave
have
up
taken it
after
off
10.
the board.
Yeah,
and-
once we knew he's going to be the OC, probably was unfair.
Okay, so
Holgo.
he doesn't really put down roots in the community. Like he likes to live in a hotel. He's like the
Oh.
Rick
Oh, that's perfect.
Majerus.
Oh,
So
That's great.
he'll, to finish out the season, he's probably living at the Embassy Suites,
Yeah.
where Nebraska had a head coach living there one
Mhm.
time.
People forget.
He'll have a great breakfast.
And he would
Well,
ride his bike over.
So I think,
Good morning.
I don't know this for a fact, but not too long ago, someone said John Butler is still living there.
Aw, roomies.
I mean, how about getting a place? Okay, buy a place in South Lincoln.
Get
Get a place in the rail yard.
That's
or
pretty
yeah,
competitive.
just get a cool high rise.
It's pretty competitive down there. You know?
Get
It
a
is.
luxury apartment.
But think about this. Would you like to live in a hotel? Like, let's say
I would not.
you could live in the Hilton Garden. So you'd have, maybe every other day they'd come in and you get maid service.
Mhm.
Okay. You wouldn't have to really worry about much. It'd be a small room. So you'd have to,
I get the living room, then the bedroom as
or
well.
let's say you're an extended stay.
Okay, yeah.
An
I'd
extended stay
want a
hotel.
kitchenette.
That's where your home is. You're living there year
I
round.
could
I could do it.
I could do it for a year. Yeah, I need a kitchenette. So yeah, I'd be okay.
What's the laundry situation?
You'd pay a fee, but you'd leave it outside your door.
Okay.
Okay.
I
That's a
could
good
do it
question.
I could do it for a year.
Maybe have
Yeah.
free
I
breakfast
guess.
in the morning.
Yeah,
it-
that's a big one, right?
It
there.
has advantages similar to that of like a gated community. Like you can't get to me. if
Yes.
You're like,
Yep.
oh, the offense sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna egg his house.
Room
Like,
147.
you can't get to me.
There's no for sale signs in your yard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Think that.
Nobody's throwing a brick through my window.
Yeah,
I've seen Remember
No.
the Titans.
They
I know what
could,
happens.
they could try. Probably not successful though.
Yeah, I guess I'd do it. I wouldn't love it, Is it better than the alternative of just, grabbing I mean, you're making a lot of money, Is it
Yeah.
better than the alternative of just getting a place for a few months? Say, hey, look, I might be done here in 3 months, but I probably
What are
won't
most
be.
leases now? At
But guess
least
what? You got to
11
move. You got to move
11
stuff
months?
in. Then at least this has all the furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a furnished place. You
Yeah.
got TV. You don't have to bring your own.
Right.
You just have to close.
I don't have to sign up for the cable, the water, the
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah. You
Everything's
get all
taken
that.
care of.
All that.
It's a lot. It's very plug and play.
That's such a
Short term, it works.
That's so appealing. That's such a burden. Getting
So
all those
apparently,
things hooked up.
Holgorsen has lived in hotels like multiple years at some stops.
That's cool.
Hmm.
That's a
I mean,
true.
if
that's
the
a true
room is
OC.
cool, and there's some nice rooms these days. Too.
So, forgive my ignorance on this. Married, not married?
I don't think he
Divorced?
is.
I don't think so.
I don't think
he's
I don't think he's married.
I don't think so.
That's fine. That's his choice.
I
It
don't
is.
know.
I'm pretty sure he's
I
not.
don't know his
Married to
personal
the
life.
job.
Married
yeah,
to the job.
he's married to offense.
Married to the game.
He's married to ball,
That
y'all.
benefits you, Nebraska fan, who
Mhm.
might talk like this.
Give me another. What was it? What was another real common talking point after yesterday's news?
Well, I've been told no one's complaining about this, so
Oh, okay.
not a single person. I've made it all up.
Oh, okay.
Do you know-
Well, in your made up way, what would have been a complaint yesterday?
I went to
in
bat for
Nebraska
you, by the
Force?
way, this morning.
It's called air raid. That means he doesn't run the ball. It's the Big Ten. It gets cold.
People love
Hey,
talking about that.
please tell me for the bowl game you will host Big Road Overreaction and only in that voice.
Yes.
Hank Hill hosts Big Red Overreaction.
These practices weren't worth it.
So Dana, by the way, Dana Holgorsen's teams. This
So
is
good.
a great little thing here. Dana Holgorsen's teams have won one conference championship.
Oh no, not this.
I'd
again.
take one.
Yeah, but the funny part is what it was.
Oh no.
It was the 2011 Big East championship at West Virginia.
Boom. That's right. You forget he was
Now-
West Virginia
Now
Big
he
East.
was,
Yeah.
you
Not
know
Big
what? And
12.
he was part of the transition into
Yeah.
Big 12, which is a little bit different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bring back Big East football.
I know.
Thank you.
Then Rutgers can go
Thank
back.
you. Welcome to the Big East. Yeah. Then
Hey,
Rutgers.
Miami
Rutgers
Miami
back
was
with you.
playing Big East
Yes,
football.
they were. Miami was Big
Boston
East.
College.
Yep.
Virginia Tech.
Yes.
Miami's last conference title was in the Big East.
Man, remember those?
That's
remember those
wild.
Miami Virginia Tech games at
Yes.
the end of the
Yes.
year? Oh, those were
Uh-huh.
so good. I used to look forward to watching.
There was
those every
usually a
year.
Vic involved too.
Oh yeah, there was a Vic, Michael,
I think
Marcus.
Boston College was a better football program when they were in the Big East playing football.
Yeah, they were. Matt Ryan.
Ooh,
It would always be
Mhm.
like it would
Tom
be the
Waddle.
11 a.m. game on Jefferson Pilot or something. That was the Big East Network.
Oh,
Jefferson Pilot.
oh, that takes me back.
2011. Big
That's
East.
wild that's Miami's last conference title.
Yeah.
Big East football hadn't been well. That would 11 might have been the last year.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
They
yeah.
were going to run roughshod over the ACC,
Yeah,
just like Nebraska was in the Big Ten.
People
That
forget.
hasn't happened.
Yeah. Well, things get in the way, like, yeah, coaches.
Doctors.
Yeah.
2011 Big East season.
Brian-
Co-champion by West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Louisville that year.
Brian says, by the way, on our hotels conversation, says, "Have you heard of people living on cruise ships? They say it's cheaper." I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Holgorsen.
So
knows,
wait a minute.
Cheaper than what?
Hotels.
You don't have a
house.
job.
Yeah,
They're retired.
yeah. It's
And you live on a cruise ship
Yeah.
and it cruises?
like a retirement community.
Yeah.
It's a floating retirement community.
I like land.
Yeah, I do too.
Team land.
I wouldn't mind the open sea for a week,
Yeah.
but for a year, no,
Team-
that would get
Team
a
land.
little too much.
I don't know. Living on a cruise ship.
Now, from a morale perspective, it probably gets a little monotonous for you, but you're constantly around people who are having the time of their lives on this
Yeah.
boat.
That's true.
That
That is
might
true.
lift your
And-
spirit a little.
And
yeah.
are they bringing in new people like every couple weeks? So then you get a new
Yeah.
group of fun goers.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Relationships are short,
Yeah,
2 weeks long.
Okay, now you see you're starting to appeal.
2 weeks long at the most.
Yeah.
So when the
No-
ship
no
comes
awful
back into
goodbyes.
port, do you
You say goodbye.
go and you grab your groceries and
I hate
everything else?
goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Just go.
Like I think most of us either know somebody or have been to an all-inclusive resort.
Yes.
I could live in an all-inclusive.
100% I could.
I don't think that I have ever been all inclusive. I don't think that I've ever
Oh,
all.
It's a
want
game
to be.
changer.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're spoiled.
When your daughter gets a little bit older and you and your wife need to get away, go to an all-inclusive.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
So
It really is.
What happens?
Oh, you just
Everything is
you've
taken care
already
of.
paid for everything. So once you get there and that money is long gone, it's like it's free.
Right. Definitely.
Big
That's
party.
good math. Yeah.
Food is really, really good.
Lots of food.
Yeah, and there's
I don't
all
like
kinds
to
of different restaurants.
I don't like to party. I like.
You know what the best part about it is?
I like
Connor?
options. There's options.
Oh yeah, there's options. You get your hibachi, you get your French, your Italian, your Mexican. Depends on where you go.
Lots of
good.
things to do.
Yep.
Stay on the water.
Yeah, they always have social events. You can be if you're the beach guy, you can do your beach stuff.
Is
I'm a big
silence
swim
an
bar.
option?
Sure, you can be in your room.
What has happened to you?
I like this guy.
What has happened to you?
I want to take a vacation and not do a single thing, or I just want to unplug my brain.
Could I interest you in just hanging out over by the swim up bar,
Now-
and then you could just go swim over to the bar and get a drink for free?
It's part of the pressure of a vacation is that you have to squeeze so many things into a small amount of time, and you feel this pressure
Buddy's on
to always be doing something.
I think
Did you get him?
I think a week long one, you got enough time to spread things out.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
I might do it.
You are giving off the impression of a new parent with a daughter that's going through it in
no,
her toddler years.
I have no complaints about
You
my.
used to be
young
out there
daughter.
hanging and banging, you and your wife. You were in the middle of the dance floor at weddings dancing. Now you're sitting.
Not there hasn't been a wedding since we've had a child. There's nothing to do right now.
Now you value silence.
I do. I value silence, but
Do you-
it's not
when
because
you're
of my
driving the
daughter.
Sokol or the Chai or the PBA, you're like, oh, this is such.
There's no you don't have the radio or anything on.
You unplug from
stop this.
society.
You're
Stop listening to podcasts.
You're painting an incorrect picture. I have no complaints about what happens when I go home. It's frankly mostly silent when I go home, which is awesome. It's a safe haven for me.
Mhm.
But sometimes you don't have any more words to say in a day.
Oh, this This right here.
Yeah. And
You talk so much at work. Why don't you say anything at home? Because I'm out. I'm tapped out.
I got no more words.
I don't have another opinion about anything. What do you want for dinner? Thoughts. I literally don't care.
Yeah, that is one thing about our jobs that when you leave here, people want to talk about what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very appreciative though. I've found a group of friends that respect that.
I respect that.
They won't bring anything up unless I bring it up. They're like, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because you just spent all day talking about it, but I was curious, but I didn't want to say it. I'm like,
silence.
Thank you.
Oh.
I appreciate that.
Think about silence. Wow.
We've lost you.
What a thing.
When we've lost
What's
Happer,
the line
we've
on
lost
silence
everything.
this weekend?
There will
Silence.
silence.
Silence is laying 24 at home.
Yeah. Is Nebraska going to lose to silence? Just like they lost him. What?
Wow.
I just think
We've gone to a dark place here. Dana's in town. He wears a necklace that has his name. He has bling.
You guys.
He has dunks that he doesn't tie them. He has the tongue of the shoe out and he tucks his pants into.
He does.
That's pretty cool.
I believe he's wore Jordans too with that same look.
Can't do that anymore.
With the tongue.
Adidas.
We used to have an offensive coordinator because he had feet problems, wouldn't wear shoes.
No, everyone's like,
and he
man,
got ran over by
like this dude is just super cash.
I thought that was a bad day.
I thought
we'd lost
trouble.
Mark Whipple that day.
Yeah. I thought that he was
and
in
he
big
wanted
trouble.
to keep calling plays.
Yeah.
Oh God, I totally forgot.
And
about
Nebraska
that.
actually hung in that game for a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Frost, why don't you go out and find an experienced offensive coordinator?
Oh, I'll find the
Say
experience.
no
one, all
more.
right.
I'll find the oldest person I can find.
No, that's not what we meant, Scott. No. Oh God, he's gone.
Did he break
Damn it.
Did he break his leg? Is that what it was? Was it his leg or did it have something to do with his hip?
I don't know if it was broke.
I thought it broke. I thought he broke it.
He took a pretty good
A
hit.
vicious hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Joe Pa's hit.
And it's not like he was in the best
no
spot
Yeah.
already.
I called Ben Roethlisberger.
Tough as nails.
The Mark Whipple year.
It was fantastic.
The Mark Whipple year was a really great comedic relief to a disastrous, meaningless, stupid football
That
season.
you knew
so
on the front
random.
end it was gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, but 2022, it was Frost shouldn't have been here anyway. Then he got fired 2 games into the season. They're like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Enter Mark Whipple.
Mark Whipple, Mickey Joseph. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Weird.
Well-
Times. Well,
Now we got a $1.4 million tight end coach.
Mhm.
hey, so what?
I know. People were like, well, look at he's here for 3 games
Yeah.
and he's gone.
It's like people would
I
have
don't know.
thought.
You think he's gone? I'm not sure he's gone.
Yeah, I think he is. Come on. Well, unless he can continue to make $1.4 million being a tight ends coach, then why would you leave? But
Who's
I don't
gonna
think
hire him
that.
as an
I don't
offen-
think that's going to
who-
happen.
Who's going to give him $1.4 million to do anything?
I'm sure there's MAC teams that could utilize that.
For $1 million?
For $1 million? No, sorry, he ain't going to make that.
Yeah. Like-
he's not going to make $1.4 million to be a tight end coach.
If
either.
I'm correct, his contract is up.
Yes, that's what I thought. He didn't get any type of extension.
So if Holgorsen's like,
Was he on a 3? Were the coordinators on a 3-year? I thought maybe.
I thought he was on it too.
someone told me yesterday that
I
he was a 2-year guy.
That's what I thought so too.
Let's see. Sure, we could.
Coordinators have had 3. Tony White's contract changed in the offseason.
Tony's got 1.6.
But look at it from this standpoint. The new OC, if Holgorsen is here next year and doesn't take a head coaching job somewhere, he's going to have say who's on his staff. So you're going to keep a guy that you walked in and the head coach had no faith in and said, hey, can you just...
The head coach had no faith in him as the offensive coordinator.
But
The head coach likes
But
Marcus Satterfield.
if Holgorsen is here next year, he's going to coach a position. So that means that Glenn Thomas will have to go somewhere.
Yeah, but you can have unlimited assistants. You could have 400 of them if you want.
But what if Satterfield makes a
The
little bit more
main
jack
guys,
to be an OC?
the main guys. Oh, you
Yeah.
can have every analyst in the world.
yeah.
But you just look at the career path. $1.4 million OC, top 10 in the country,
Mhm.
tight end coach, and now an analyst?
Yeah.
That seems to be going backwards.
You don't
Yeah.
think there's a chance that he could be on the staff next year? I do think
I
there is
think
a-
a very, very
I
slim
do think
chance.
there is a chance of that.
I don't see that.
I don't know. That'd be really tough.
What's he gonna do? What,
We'll go to Coastal Carolina. We call him plays.
Yeah.
He'll be wheeling
for
and
Tim
dealing.
Beck?
He'll be wheeling and dealing.
I don't think so.
He'll be back where he's comfortable.
Tim Beck is hucking and chucking
What
that
if he
thing.
wants to move back closer to family? He'll find a job.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
could be in the mountains of Appalachian
As
State,
a-
calm place.
As an OC or as a position coach somewhere. Because he could be a position coach here. They could put him in charge.
Could he
of
be a
something
head
here.
coach at a small school?
No,
No,
I don't know that he has a
Oh.
desire to be a head coach.
Okay.
no. I don't think that he
No?
would.
Okay.
No.
One thing I did notice, Nick brought this up earlier. Does Dana Holgorsen, would you think he's older than 53?
Yeah.
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 I thought he was a little bit older. He's only 53.
Oh,
Because we were trying to
man.
think, okay, I made the case that you have to have at least like a 2-year commitment. As long as Dylan is here, Dana's got to be the OC. So you want at least a 2-year commitment, maximum 1,
So when he was put in
or
charge
minimum 1.
of the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and special teams at Valdosta State in 1993, he was
Jeez.
22 years old.
That was a long time ago.
Hey, run through all the places he's worked.
Valdosta State, Mississippi College. That's got to be a JUCO, right? Whatever. Wingate, Texas Tech interior wide receiver coach, Texas Tech co-OC, Texas Tech OC, Houston, Oklahoma State, and then head coach stops at West Virginia and Houston before taking a nice gig at TCU this year to analyze. And,
Has his Wikipedia page been updated?
yeah, it says interim offensive coordinator at Nebraska.
Oh, interim.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay.
I'd say that's currently true. That is currently true.
Yes.
Interim offensive coordinator. What a term.
IOC.
Yeah. Oh, maybe maybe that's what I means on the Texas Tech wide receiver thing. Co-OC and interim wide receiver coach. Not interior.
Like, damn,
I was
Mike-
like, what's an interior?
Michael Leach was detailed
Yeah,
on
he's
his
like,
positions.
let's get these guys coached up in the slot for sure. For sure. FWAA first year.
We got our slot receiver coach, and then we've got our outside guy.
first year coach of the year in 2011 when he split that Big East championship at West Virginia.
Mm.
Man,
That was a tough transition. Big East to Big 12.
I love it. I love a guy who he just likes ball, you know.
He
He just likes drawing stuff up. Whatever he does off to the side, and probably not a guy who's completely fit to be a head coach. Definitely not here, but that dude loves offense.
I'm glad you brought that up because I got
Put him
a
in the
text
lab.
earlier today. Dave posed a question. He said if Dana does like he did at West Virginia, he'll be the next head coach in Nebraska.
I can tell you that Dana Holgorsen will not be the next head coach at Nebraska. Even if there was an interim at some nope,
Oh,
it will not be Dana.
It
will not be Dana.
I'm with you.
It will not be him.
Now, do we even speculate on how long he'll be here? 2 max? Because he's going to want to be a head coach again, right?
Yeah.
And someone's going to
that'd give him
say,
what, 55,
hey,
56 years
do
old.
you
Maybe
want
he
to get? Do you
found-
want to get back into it?
Maybe he found in his travels that he just loves being an offensive coordinator. There's
I
certain
would say-
things you
I
have
would
to
say
do as
two.
a head coach that just don't fit his skill set.
I'm going to go 2 years. Yeah. I say get him for 2 years.
Two max. So
Two.
the rest of
This
it
year
for
doesn't
next year
count.
and
Yeah.
the next
Yeah. Give me 25 and 26.
Wow. 2 years of Dana Holgorsen. 2 years, 2 more years potentially of Dylan Raiola.
See, I think it matches up well.
Yep.
Then what?
And then after that, it's up
Garrett
to him.
McGuire era begins.
Let's just work on USC first.
One game at a time. All right.
All right, you guys have fun.
We
You guys
will.
going to talk about the wet willy that was given last night? in the
That
Monday Night
was
Football
pretty
game?
funny. The slow-mo wet willy with the glove on. I don't think it was
I
a
love
wet.
a wet willy.
I don't think it was wet.
Yeah, probably wet, but it was still, it was the gesture.
Love a finger in the
Mhm.
ear hole.
Yep.
pull a question up at Happer Show. Do you love a finger in the ear hole?
Make sure you type that.
Yep. Just like that.
Because if you're thinking and typing, it may come out something different. You don't want to hit send on that.
You gotta really proofread that one.
Okay, we'll do.
You ever gotten a wet willy?
Oh yeah.
You know, a little kid on the playground?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
It's horribly disgusting.
Mhm.
You ever
Do you think
given
kids-
a wet willy?
Do you think kids still do it? Oh, I've given a wet willy. I've got a wet willy. Do you think kids still do it though?
Probably just spit on the kid now, right?
they
Kids
skip,
are lazy.
they skip the middleman.
For you, waterboard them.
They circumvent the
Our
system.
kids too lazy to do wet willies anymore. I tell you what, kids these days, they have no creativity in how they want to bully people.
You know who would do a wet willy?
Dana Holgorsen.
Holgorsen.
Yeah, he would.
You know who has no creativity to go saliva, finger, ear?
Satterfield.
Marcus.
You guys said it. I didn't.
That's
a good show.
That's a crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair and Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. What's up, everybody? How we feeling today? Did you enjoy that press conference yesterday? Press conference overreaction moves into day 2.
I like when things happen on our show.
I do too. That way we get to say we broke the news.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
We didn't really break any news.
No.
We didn't. Nobody knew what was coming yesterday.
We can't stress that enough.
Nobody knew what was coming yesterday. That's exactly right. All right, so we are here for Tuesday. Of course, we will talk about the news yesterday in Lincoln, the various different arms and conversations to that. Can Josh do your Hank Hill voice? Can you run this offense in the Big Ten?
Can you run this offense in the Big Ten? I mean, it gets cold. It's air raid. You don't run the ball in the air raid.
That's right. You just throw that thing around all day long. Watch out. We will have one, I think, clip from Matt Rhule's press conference yesterday, and sort of some overarching thoughts on it as well. Never got to our basketball roundup yesterday.
Oh man, I was so looking forward to it.
I'm so ready to hit that basketball button, Josh, but he just won't let me. He's got the cover on it, and he's not letting me open up the cover and
the ranking of newsworthiness that got pushed down the list a little bit.
Well, what about today?
Might be some time for it today.
All right. Okay.
Let's
also,
find out why Nebraska almost lost to Bethune-Cookman.
See, you are excited to talk about it because you're excited to laugh at Nebrasketball. Classic Josh.
No.
Hater Josh once again strikes.
Point out certain things that amuse me.
NFL reaction, overreaction coming up at 12:30. Josh's bottom 5 NFL teams coming up after that. So we'll have some NFL chat for you today, including with Allan Bell. Driving the line coming up in less than an hour here.
They predicted on that show yesterday.
They predict many things.
A tipped ball interception, and it happened.
Can you bet on that? A tipped ball interception?
I don't know if you can bet on specifically that, but they bet on, I believe it was Matt Stafford to throw a tipped ball interception, and he did.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So there you go. That's why we talked to Allan, because he sees the future.
Mm-hmm.
It always helps when your guests on your show can see the future.
Definitely.
Jacob Bigelow, we'll see if he can see the future of Nebrasketball at 1:00. That is the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Would love to hear from you all today. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTubers out there, including Theo.
What up, Theo?
Who says Happer Show forced Rhule's hand.
Wow.
It wasn't Sean Eichhorst. It wasn't Bill Moose. It wasn't Trev Alberts. And it wasn't Troy Dannon. It was Happer Show that made this happen. You're welcome.
Do we have that kind of power?
I don't even think that I was at the front. I don't even think I was in the driver's seat of the fire sat thing. Josh, I was very much like
that day you were gone. I did ask for it.
You did?
I did.
Okay, so maybe this is you.
Maybe. I hadn't thought of that.
Josh.
Wow.
Josh did a tweet yesterday that triggered people. You are really in it now. Welcome.
Yeah. I'm about that take life.
Welcome to the bleep.
Thank you.
Swim around for a little while. See if you like it.
I don't so far, for the record.
All right. So that is what is coming up today on the show. Elsewhere, of course, we didn't get to that log jam at the top of the SEC, and we'll sort of morph that into a conversation about, obviously, the Big Ten. The playoff rankings come out tonight. What might those playoff rankings look like with 2 teams toward the top of the list taking losses this past weekend in Georgia in Miami? We will predict those today on the show, and I will introduce an idea that we need to change the thought process on who actually has a chance to win the dang thing.
Oh,
to win the dang thing, right? The teams that you look at, it's like, wow, they got a really good resume. They're probably gonna win the dang thing. Or are we going a little bit more toward the NFL style? The idea of, man, it's really great to be battle tested. Really, like you've been through these experiences. Now the Chiefs are an interesting example this year in the NFL because they have both been battle tested and are undefeated and have won the last 2 Super Bowls. So there's that piece. Their schedule is about to get a little bit more, well, it'll continue to be challenging, of course, as well. And that's really the setup for the show today. Like I said, would love to hear from you all. I don't think we're responsible for changing anything. I think it's Matt Rhule and Matt Rhule only.
Phew. Okay.
Yep.
I kind of didn't want that much pressure.
BA Coaches Show writes in.
BA Coaches Show.
I want an entire show of Josh and his Hank Hill voice next time Connor is gone. Connor will never be gone again.
Whew, all right.
No silence for me.
Love that.
You can't silence me.
There's no travel days in a couple weeks.
There is a travel day, but they're on days where I am not scheduled to be on the air.
Okay, great.
Uh-huh.
Love that for you.
Yep. I don't see anything coming anytime soon. So
great.
You're stuck with me.
Love it.
Maybe I'll get sick at some point. I don't know. It's possible.
I don't think
I haven't hit my yearly sickness yet. So
careful, Connor.
I'm just saying. I don't want to tempt fate.
Yeah, exactly.
But now as a father, I possess the ability to just power through these things now. Isn't that what everybody says? It's like, once you get a kid, you're just kind of sick all the time and you just go.
Yeah, I found the first winter was particularly difficult.
Oh, good. We're just entering that.
Right.
John emails in.
Hi, John.
Josh is the producer of the show. The producer decides on all topics. Therefore, no basketball.
Look at that. No basketball.
Josh has decided he's not allowing me to talk about basketball.
I believe.
Josh, is this true that you do all the topics?
I do all the topics, all the prep. Connor is merely my mouthpiece.
What do you say you do here?
What is it? I make these funny graphics all over the screen. That's what I do.
What do I do then? Josh makes the funny graphics. He's in charge of the entire radio station, and he does the topics for this show, and he's firing coaches. What does Connor Happer do? It's amazing.
You show up.
Yep, that's right.
And that's enough.
That's right. Here's TC.
Hi, TC.
Where's Paul Feinbaum now? Remember back in July when Paul Feinbaum blasted Matt Rhule for claiming the Big Ten was good enough to have 4 teams in the playoff? Well, unless the bottom falls out and we venture into upset city, the Big Ten will have 4 teams.
That's right.
I think he was more mad at Matt Rhule for being the person who's saying this, considering Nebraska hasn't done jack. And,
Ryan Day can say that 4 teams from the Big Ten will be in the playoffs.
Here's the thing about the Big Ten, and this will come up in our conversation about the playoff. The Big Ten has long given off the vibe. It's more of a vibe than anything, but I think it's true, anecdotally as well. The Big Ten has long given off the vibe that they are anti politicking for things. They will let their play do the work, and then whatever their resume is at the end of the year, you will decide. You will have to decide if it's deserving enough or not. But we believe that we've done enough. Coaches in the Big Ten don't go all Eli Drinkwitz. As much as I really don't care for Eli Drinkwitz, and his team has no shot at the playoff.
None whatsoever.
Good on him for getting up there after the game and being like, you know what? Put us in the playoff conversation, you cowards. It won't mean much when they lose probably this weekend, but good for him.
That's his job.
Absolutely. Just like it's Josh, the Utah athletic director's job to stand up for his guys.
If I was a Utah fan, I would love that.
Exactly. Also from the 402, speaking of Josh making all the topics.
Uh-oh.
So is Josh to blame for never talking about Caitlin Clark?
We don't have time to get to it. We're trying.
We're very busy.
You have to see, when doing a show, you have to prep more topics than you have time to get to, just in case, a topic fizzles out and I thought we could get 2 segments out of that. We only got 1 segment out of that. Yeah.
I got an email from Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Jim is saying that we are the smartest show on 1620 The Zone. Agreed, for the record. It's mostly Josh since he's the guy. And his evidence of saying this is that Yellowstone does, in fact, suck.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely think that. Okay.
Smartest, least horny,
Mm-hmm.
all those things.
Number one with women.
Great. That's true. Have you heard the news for this week? It's that
Tell them.
we have a winner of our 4-quarter pick'em from this past weekend, and it was Holly. Holly's not a normal guy's name.
It's not.
It's Holly. Holly's a woman, and she said that her favorite show was the Connor Happer show. And she's
What?
smart, and she won 4-quarter pick'em, and she won $2,500 this week from 1620 The Zone. I just find all of those things to be very interesting.
Incredible. Fascinating. Quite frankly.
Fascinating. All right. We are off and running on a Tuesday. Josh, what are we going to talk about next?
I think we should talk about, probably do a little Dana chat.
Okay. Just little Dana chat.
Was that right?
I got something in the can for him. I'll pick you up here, Josh.
Thanks, bud.
I'll take this one for you. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Meme alert.
Oh, we love a good meme. Yeah.
Firing head coach. It's the Drake meme,
Okay.
Firing head coach.
Problematic.
Firing offensive coordinator. Examples. Obviously, we have Nebraska. Didn't fire their offensive coordinator, but
Stuck him in the back somewhere.
removed him from calling the plays. We have the Bears this morning who fired Shane Waldren. We will make a comp to the Huskers and the Bears in Big Red Overreaction today, or Big Red Overreaction, an NFL reaction overreaction. I guess it is kind of Big Red Overreaction as well.
A little bit.
Maybe the writers will have something for us there. Also, I have this news, and this may shock you, out of Hastings College.
Oh, no.
Hastings College football is parting ways with their offensive coordinator.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Ken Fastnacht he has been let go.
Man.
So there you go. Hastings College having a rough year.
2-9.
2-9. Had a rough year. It's over.
Lost 6 in a row.
They fired their OC. They announced today. That news comes from our friends at ESPN Tri-Cities.
Hastings College, Florida State, handshake meme.
Yep. Mike Norvell's firing everybody.
Everybody.
Didn't Purdue fire all their coordinators this year?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I can understand why people react to the news yesterday in Lincoln and say, oh, well, this is a panic move. This is a panic move. Here we go. They're just trying to get some goodwill with the fan base and all this stuff. I don't know. I don't necessarily like. I think you could look at it from a global perspective, from a 40,000 foot view at Nebraska, and say, that is the real display of urgency right there. And I've talked about before the urgency that doesn't only exist at Nebraska, but exists at Nebraska exponentially more than at Matt Rhule's previous 2 stops in college as a head coach. Matt Rhule, by the way, fired his offensive coordinator when he was with the Panthers as well. So, things move.
If you've identified the problem and have a solution,
absolutely,
why wait?
I think what Matt Rhule said yesterday was that he has identified part of the problem, or he's come to the understanding that making a move here would change things, whether it's freshening up the offense, or if you want to read into it even further, changing the pathway for Dylan Raiola's career in general, right? Like that's most of what I've been thinking about for the last 24 hours since this news came down. This is a real difference from how you wanted to approach Dylan Raiola's. And don't get me like, I know it's bigger than one player, but in this case, it's barely bigger than one player. It is attached to Dylan Raiola. And your tenure as a head coach at Nebraska, like it or not, is attached to Dylan Raiola. Because if Dylan Raiola, for whatever reason, doesn't work, and they don't find a way to get him off the ground, Matt Rhule won't be around to see another quarterback, or he'll leave after this year and then he'll have to scramble and find the pieces going into next year. This is a gamble. This is a change in how Matt Rhule has talked about Dylan Raiola's career, how he's talked about the process of things at Nebraska, believing in it and doubling down and all of these things. But like you said, Josh, he has identified a problem. This gives, in my opinion, Nebraska both a higher ceiling as a program under Matt Rhule and a lower floor. And a lower floor. There is a chance that this is disastrous. There's always a chance that it's disastrous, Josh. There's a chance that it's really good and it clicks and it works.
Yeah, let's do that one. I like that one.
Really? I thought you were a Husker hater.
No. I call things the way I see them presented in front of me.
There's a chance that this is an epic disaster, though. And then if it is an epic disaster, it will be looked back upon as a panic move. Wow, Matt Rhule really shouldn't have changed directions that fast. They had a half a season worth of bad games, and it wasn't working for you. And they panicked. Or if it works, it'll be looked at as, wow, Matt Rhule really's got his finger on the pulse here. And this was a great change for Dylan Raiola. It was a great change for the offense. I tend to think it's that way, but only because I have a more rosy outlook on life than some people. I know that some people look at this thing and they say, oh boy, I just don't know. I appreciate that Matt Rhule has the ability to go outside of his comfort zone, and I think he possesses the traits and the personality for this to be able to work. I think he possesses the ability, we do a lot of comparing to the previous head coach, but I think he possesses the ability to step back from something and take his hands off of it and say, all right, I trust Dana Holgorsen, which is interesting in the first place because those two don't have any real history together other than being in the same conference at the same time and playing against, and coaching against each other for a few times.
It's interesting you're saying all these things because in my mentions, I'm hearing that literally no one hates this move. No one is questioning it. And I'm an idiot for suggesting that people are.
I'm not saying that it will go. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it could provide a spark to the offense for the last 3 games. That's for sure. But I think a better idea is what's going to give you a better idea is what's going to happen next season for Nebraska football. And what I am saying is that it undoubtedly gives Nebraska a higher ceiling, but it undoubtedly gives them a lower floor.
We're going to
we're
play the result on this.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
Yep. Here is Joe on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
What's up? We're good.
Good. I got 2 things. First, and I'll try to keep them short, but so it seems to me, and I've got a little bit of a philosophy for it, and I sort of attribute it to sort of fantasy football or this fantasy football mentality. And it seems like there's a group of people, and maybe there's not a whole lot of people that hate the move in general, but they're kind of crapping all over it because either it wasn't done when they thought it should have been done, or now it shows panic. And it's like, man, you can't have it both ways. You wanted him to fire Satterfield, then he does fire Satterfield. Now you question why he even fired Satterfield in the first place, or, well, it was done too late, or why did he do it then? And it's just like, I think there's just a handful of fans that they're not happy with nothing.
Correct.
They're always talking about who sucks, this guy sucks, with no real solutions and no actual football knowledge. If you was to ask them, well, hey, what's the A-gap assignment on a D-line? None of them know. They don't really know football, and neither do I. I'm not an expert, but they're just not happy unless they're absolutely screaming that this guy sucks, that guy sucks, this coach sucks, you got to fire that guy, you got to fire this guy. And it's, with social media, now they got a voice louder than just being at the games. But it's like there's a handful of people that just can't stop that whole, we got to fire this guy sucks. And it's tiresome. I'm like, there's a handful of Husker fans I can't even watch games with because all they do is, oh, they suck, this guy sucks. And it's like, shut up. There's another word I wanted to.
I know, you were close, Joe. Right? Careful.
I was close. Long-time caller, first-time listener. I love that joke. But anyway, the last thing I want to end with, Nebraska opened up the wrestling season, had a great crowd. I was there.
Did you get your foam finger?
I did. I grabbed the foam finger. I'm one of those foamers, but I loved it.
Hey, Joe, I heard they got a pretty. I heard Mark Manning say that he really likes his group this year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they do. They really do have a squad that got guys from every weight class. They've had these before, and they've kind of haven't done so well in the NCAA tournament. So that's kind of been our bugaboo. So we'll see how they do. They do have a great squad, and the crowd was great. It was good to see that many people there supporting Husker wrestling. That's what I got. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. I can tell you I've worked a few of those over the years. There's not like, it's not like a huge, sold out Devaney crowd that goes to those wrestling meets, but like the, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people that they do get at those are like they are fired up. They are in there. Right. So it gets pretty electric in there.
I gotta know what's with the schedule. They're not at home until like the 20th of December again.
Yeah.
Terrible scheduling. The league clearly out to screw over a top 5 program.
Yeah. And then to Joe's other comment, yeah, we're used to that though. People enjoy being mad.
Gotta be mad about something.
But I think it's fair to poke holes in this. Like I think there is absolutely a way that is on the table that we look back and we say, oh boy, this was the moment. This was a panic move. They put all their chips on the table and it didn't work. And now they have to pay, the whole thing has to go because of it. There is a way where that becomes a thing.
I mean, a lot of, if not all of Matt Rhule's tenure probably hinges on this move.
That and Dylan Raiola.
Yep.
All right. On that, we will come back and discuss some more things as it pertains to this. Also, we'll get into the college football playoff tonight. We'll discuss what's at stake in the final 3 weeks of the season coming up on 1620 The Zone.
If the coach could just put their cigarette out on my nipples, that would be great.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. This week's Zone Deal is to Cops, which is, of course, more than just delicious pizza, steak, seafood, pasta, fresh salads, tasty charred wings, dining care out of delivery from Cops with 3 convenient locations in Omaha. This week's Zone Deal, $50 worth of vouchers for just $25. Or you could listen to Unsportsmanlike Conduct all week for your chance to win the $50 to Cops for $0.00.
That's a hell of a deal.
That's free, Josh. The Zone Deal on sale this Friday at 9 under the Deals tab at 1620thezone.com. All right, welcome back. Let's get more. I want to see where you guys are at on this thing. I sense this is very general, but I sense people are cautiously optimistic. I don't. Maybe it strays toward optimistic.
Sure, it could blow up in the face, but you're trying something, and it's the exact thing I wanted you to try. Good.
To the phones. Here is old man Doug on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. Joe always triggers me, and you triggered me yesterday.
Oh, God.
Number one, it does matter what somebody is paid when you're looking at them. I mean, Joe's the kind of guy, and I've listened to Joe. He calls in a lot, and he's always the eternal optimist, and everything's going to be okay. He's like Kevin Bacon in Animal House. All is calm, remain calm. Everything's fine, whatever, as he's getting run over by the mob. And then secondly,
Animal House is a movie.
He probably tips 20% if he gets bad service at a restaurant. And at some point, money does matter. And somebody said Dannon should give us all a refund. Dannon didn't hire Rhule, okay? And I'm still behind Rhule. But on the other hand, for what we're paying, what we're investing emotionally, and we're getting a bunch of hot garbage, no one's going to be happy. And so if somebody says, yeah, we're paying this guy $1.4 million to coach the tight ends, we shouldn't have paid him $1.4 million or 1.6, whatever he's getting paid to be OC. But of course you're going to hear that. And is anybody wrong when they're saying that? He just got relieved of his duties. I'm not saying it makes any better. He's going to get paid that anyway. Okay, I get that. But what everybody is trying to say is we're paying a lot of money for this hot garbage that we've got, particularly the last 8 years. Okay, Rhule hasn't been here 8 years. You can say that, but he has all the resources available to him. And that's more of a criticism towards Rhule than Satterfield. I mean, of course, Satterfield's going to take the money. I mean, who wouldn't? But, that's the other thing. And it can't get any worse. And you probably, Connor, because you have the most horrible non-movie watching, but it was called War Games. And the general says, I would piss on a spark plug if I thought it would help. That's this move right here. And how can it be any more disastrous than it already is? I mean, what if they only score 10 points next week or this weekend? I mean, it's not going to be any different than Satterfield was coaching. And then, we have an opportunity to retain some recruits. And I mean, I think it's probably the only movie he could make. He had to make it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money. And he'll get, if he doesn't work out here, he'll get paid a lot of money to go away, just like Satterfield's going to get an extra, probably 1.5 years or 2 years, whatever their contracts are. But I just think, yeah, money does matter. People put their money in it. And I doubt Joe is any kind of a donor, sponsors any radio shows or any of that kind of stuff post game. And I sometimes get so pissed off, I don't even listen to my own show because I don't even call in. But so money does matter. Yes, it matters. Absolutely does matter. So
thanks, Doug. Appreciate the call. Of course, money matters. Of course, money matters. We're dealing with a lot of money here. And we're dealing, as Doug said, with a lot of resources that Nebraska has at their fingertips. I don't know that they've even decided what they're going to do with Marcus Satterfield yet. I don't know that Marcus Satterfield has looked into what might be next for him, right? He came along with Rhule and was told that he's going to get a bunch of money to coordinate the offense, and now is no longer coordinating the offense. They're paying him a prorated version of they're paying him $1.4 million. It's his contract, right? They're paying him the rest of it throughout the remainder of this year. I don't know that we know what's next for him. Of course, like the money matters from the perspective of you, but like I will flip it back to you this way, and I will say, what wouldn't you give to say, hey, look, this is going to work? If Nebraska has the ability and the resources at their fingertips to say, we have a unique situation where we're trying to get this program back off of the ground, and we have this history and all this stuff like this, but we also have resources because we're in the conference that we're in and our fan base is awesome. They have a really unique thing compared to most other programs across the country that are trying to get whatever programs they're building off of the ground. So you don't want to tell people that you're not going to, that you're not going to spend a bunch of money on an offensive coordinator. You have an offensive coordinator, regardless of what his skill set is, you're going to pay him competitively compared to what offensive coordinators make. That's the guy that Matt Rhule put in that spot at the beginning of his tenure here, and he's not there anymore, right? He's not in that spot.
And as we said yesterday, you can pay him to do nothing, or you can pay him to do something.
Right.
something seems pretty good as a I believe ROI
It's
is the term
it's
that
about
money people
finding
use.
what people do well. Matt Rhule decided that, and everybody saw this, right? This is to the point of this is what people wanted.
Mhm.
Everybody saw that wasn't necessarily his strong point. That doesn't mean he's a bad football coach. Doesn't mean he can't coach football or wouldn't be passionate about the University of Nebraska. It just means he was doing the wrong thing. Like, we're not trying to make excuses for the guy. He wasn't good at it, right? We all saw that and knew that and talked about it for the entirety of this football season. You guys wanted him gone last year when they didn't have a quarterback and the quarterback couldn't catch a shotgun snap, right?
So I understand that like throwing money at a problem is bad, but imagine if Matt Rhule went to that podium yesterday and said, Marcus Satterfield is our offensive coordinator for the rest of the season because I do not deem it financially viable.
That's right.
To fix the problem right now.
That's right.
You would freak out.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
It would be a bad look for the University of Nebraska.
Yes.
Absolutely. It would tell everybody else, yeah, well, we can't make these moves because we just don't have the financial flexibility to do so right now. Nebraska is one of the few universities in the country that does have the financial flexibility to do almost whatever it wants.
They're in the black. I believe that's the financial term.
That's right, Josh.
Look at me. I know money. Dollars, cents.
Very much so.
Euros.
Very much. And then
Dogecoin.
Also, it's not like they're making gigantic profits every year either. They're putting that money back into the program, whichever way they see fit. I would rather pay a bunch of money. There is no limit to what I would pay if I had the financial flexibility that Nebraska has to try and get this thing off the ground. That's what they're telling Matt Rhule right now. Do what needs to be done. Do what needs to be done. Did he do that? In his thought process, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, then he has to suffer the consequences at the end of that.
The most financially responsible thing for the university to do is to get the hire right each and every time. But that's not possible now, is it?
That's right. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. We don't know why. Sometimes we do know why.
Joe wanted it put on the official record of the show that he is a donor.
Oh, good. There you go.
Old man Doug was questioning.
There you go.
And Joe wanted it confirmed. Yes, Joe, donor.
Okay. Now that we got that all straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we're hitting the trifecta.
I know.
Just right off the bat here at the start of the show.
No callers the rest of the day. They've all called in already.
What am I about to say, Josh?
Random Mike!
Hey, Mike. What's going on?
Hey, Doug is a money guy.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed his call. Particularly that line about not even watching his own show. I repeat, people eat walnuts. Don't rely on me. Look it up. And there was more aggravation, but you're right on the money, Connor, about Dylan being the key to all this. But I got to tell you, and I said this before, it is a privilege to watch Josh eat on YouTube. But the expression on Josh's face when old man Doug said, "Connor, you have the worst."
I didn't know where we were going.
I honestly didn't either. Yeah, so I was really curious to see where it was going.
You got to catch the expression on Josh's face right after he said "worse." It was priceless. Look, who has Dylan been listening to since he's been here? It strikes me that there's at least 3 guys that are in his ear a lot. Does that make sense?
Marcus Satterfield, Matt Rhule, and Glenn Thomas.
Yeah, we don't hear about Glenn Thomas much.
We do not.
Quarterback coach. But the regression of Dylan is unbelievable. And look, I don't know if you guys listen to Sports Nightly. I'm a big fan of Greg Sharp, and what Jimmy Chavez said, knowing Greg Sharp really well, really touched me and what he's going through. And it looks like he's handling it pretty well. We're all praying for it.
Definitely.
But I'm a big fan of Jessica Cootie. I think she's great. And I don't know how the hell we got her out of Oklahoma, because she's really good at what she does, and it's obvious she's a good person too. And both of them, and they're, they know who they work for, and I'm sure they like Satterfield. But both of them were pretty obvious in supporting the move, and there's no way you can't support it just looking at the numbers. But here's the thing, Dylan, he was so great early in the year, and he was great in the All-Star games. He was great in high school, and the experts say he's fantastic. And Rivers, Matt Stafford says he wants him to succeed him as quarterback, Uncle Matt with the Rams.
Yep.
I mean, he's fantastic, and he looked so good early. And then he's missing, touchdowns. And had he not done that against Ohio State, I talked to the great Michael Severe after the Ohio State game, and this is what kind of bothers me. I said, what if Dylan hits one of those wide open guys for touchdowns and we win the game? And then we win out because we're thinking, hey, we could beat anybody. And let's say we did, which is certainly possible. Could we make the playoffs? And he said, he thought about it, and he said, yeah, he thought we had a good chance. We had 2 losses and the wins we had. I mean, that's how close we were. And we should have beat Ohio State, and we should have beat UCLA. So as bad as the offense has been, we're that close. And in every one of our close losses, maybe with the exception of the last one, the defense, as good as they've been, failed at the end of the fourth quarter. They haven't been that good. Am I right?
Definitely. Yes.
And why is that? I tend to think mainly it's because maybe some guys are getting tired. I mean, how much do we rely on Robinson? To me, he's sort of been a key to the team.
I think, Mike, that's the whole. I mean, it involves both the offense and the defense. That Rhule has mentioned it in both of his previous 2 press conferences. He has to find a way to get this team to be more consistent. And what he's talking about is their reactionary qualities to everything that sort of happens, right? He's got to get them to be more consistent. It's not necessarily it manifests itself in the X's and O's and where people are and stuff like that. He's got to get them to be more consistent. And I think this is hiring Holgorsen is almost a shortcut to it, right? Even though it's a reshuffling of the deck, I think what you're doing offensively just becomes a little bit more simple. Get simple and then build off of there.
Yeah, and special teams is inexcusable.
Yeah,
I mean, to have no return game as bad as they've been. And again, we got a good buddy and who doesn't like our special teams? But look at the results. Satterfield, I got to tell you, my freshman year in college, the resident advisor, RE, was named Leonard Satterwhite. So I keep
Satterwhite. Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, so I keep wanting to say Satterwhite. But look, he's a good guy, and I really felt sorry for him, especially in these last few weeks. But is it his fault that our quarterback is missing wide open guys, or that receivers aren't doing basic things right that they do in practice? Is that his fault? So it's not all his fault. But this is going to be fascinating in the next few weeks. But yeah, it's a move that you really can't argue about.
Absolutely, Mike. Thanks for the call.
Take care.
All right, so it's a double-edged sword for sure, and that's why I'm saying he's putting all the cards on the table. He's pushing all the chips in. Because what he's said is, he's making the change at offensive coordinator. He's telling his players, Rhule is, I am going to do whatever it takes. He said as much yesterday. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Big swings.
Translation, I'm taking care of my bleep. You better take care of yours. That's what he's saying, right? And like his obvious, like the path to that from Rhule's perspective is listen to me, like we're going to get this thing right, but focus. We need more focus from everybody. So to Mike's point about, hey, whose fault is it that the quarterback is missing throw? Like the root of that is probably buried in how many different things or how many different items are on the menu as far as the offense is concerned. But I think their solution will be buried somewhere in we have to master a couple things. We have to get really good at some simple things first. We have to identify those things, obviously, from a football perspective, but also like we got to block out all the noise. So Rhule has turned the pressure, whatever it might be, up on his players. And I think his seniors, some guys who have been in the program for a really long time, they look at this and say, wow, they'll probably look at this and say, wow, we only have a couple games left. We have to sort of get this right. Not in, we have to do, our jobs and more. Rhule's consistent message is do your job. And it's got a lot of guys out there that are trying to do more than their job right now. It's still a problem from day one. So he's shaking things up and he's saying, I'm going to get this part right. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to put you guys in the best possible situation. And you have to go out there and do it. And if you don't, then we're going to find somebody else who does. Josh, are you ready to play a video here?
Oh, yeah.
I got this from Rhule yesterday. This is just a piece of, the many, many things he said. But he was, talking. I mean, I'll just let you play it. It's a lot of what we just talked about.
Battled through it. I gave the seniors a couple days off, just to kind of catch their breath. They've done so much for the program, and I wanted the young guys to know last week, like, hey, this is not about next year. This is about right now. Like, get better now. And so it was good. You have some guys, maybe they're on the scout team. All of a sudden now they're up there playing. And then Thursday we all came back together. And I think Dana has just done a good job of saying, hey, guys, I'm just here to help. And so it has, I'm sure in the locker room there's seismic conversations, don't get me wrong, but no one's come to me with, hey, coach, I think this is a good move or a bad move. I think they've just kind of said, hey, what are we doing next? And I think I will say this, just being out on the field and watching, I think it's all flowed really seamlessly and really smoothly. And that was really the take from Phil. Like, Coach Snow came in and was like, I trust Phil with my life, and he was like, man, you got a really good group of kids. You got a good defensive staff. It's just some of these games, it's just like a play here, a play there. It's like, you're knocking the quarterback out of bounds on 3rd and 8 when you need to come around and sack fumble the ball, right? So it's just, just a little edges here and there that we're fighting for.
Are we doing the routine things, just the little things in these games? And he identified that part of the reason is there's a lot of, with the offensive coordinator in particular, there was just a lot of stuff. They didn't know what, they didn't have an identity, right? Is it frustrating that they're still trying to lay a base here in the latter stage of 2024, Matt Rhule's second year in his he's 21 games in at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is frustrating. But I Rhule at least understands the problem. He's not, I think he's frustrated by the problem. I think he's still trying to find answers to the problem and is taking the steps necessary. And yes, has definitely turned up the heat a little bit on his team and the urgency for it. The reason why I played that is because I love what he said about, playing young guys, right? If you're playing, if you have to get better right now, we're going to play you.
Best guy's going to play.
Now he did clarify, like, hey, we're not going to pull any red shirts off of guys if that's not what they desire to do. Like, we're not going to mess with their eligibility clocks just to get one more game and get to a bowl win. But it's all hands on deck. That's for sure. They've thrown all the chips into the middle. A follow-up from Old Man Doug, by the way.
Hello, Old Man Doug.
On his Equitable Bank inbox.
It's his inbox.
He says, we're getting a Sizzler quality steak for a Ruth Chris restaurant price. People at some point will quit paying a high price for a low quality product.
True. That's true.
Absolutely. Yeah. But would you I don't want Nebraska to stop paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to get better steaks. Make better steaks.
Yeah.
Right? Not like you're in a bad situation right now. You're paying for a really good steak and you're getting a bad steak. Get better steaks. Don't start paying for cheaper steaks.
And don't tip.
And don't tip if it's bad.
That's right.
Sure.
And it's not going to look, and just this needs to be said. I think it's pretty obvious, but apparently it's not. This offense isn't going to look transformatively different on Saturday. Okay.
I don't think so, but I do think you'll see. I do think you'll see some differences. Yeah.
Imagine.
I think tempo will be there. I think they'll do some of those things, and I think you will see some more clarity in what they are trying to do. It's generally still Marcus Satterfield's offense, like in the concepts that they're running. But Dana Holgorsen knows enough about offense to understand. All right, here's what you have, and I can make this better before we do our own thing. Before we turn this into my show, I think that there are some tenets of what I do, Dana Holgorsen, that I can bring to what you guys are doing right now, and it can get better right away. I think that.
Imagine being a 10-year NFL veteran. Say, for example, you've played maybe, I don't know, 133 games in your NFL career, and you thought the offense was going to change in 7 days. Boy, you'd be a real idiot who's too afraid to come on this radio station and say that.
Josh, who are you talking about?
I don't know. Just hypothetical.
Coward, call people out, Josh, by name. Say my name.
Scott Shanley.
Oh, nice. Wow, he said it.
You said I wouldn't.
I didn't think I was going to be able to guilt you into that, but you took the bait very quickly.
I was pretty confident that nothing will ever come of this.
Texter asks on the concept of money, do we know how much money Holgorsen is making? Since he's still getting paid by Houston, are we getting a discount for this season? We do not. Maybe that information will come out. I can't imagine it's much of any. It's probably like an analyst, prorated,
Rhule was still getting paid by the Panthers when he showed up.
Yeah, like probably not much.
Yeah,
probably not much would be my guess.
$11.50 an hour.
Greg in Myrtle Beach.
Greg in Myrtle Beach. How the hell are you?
There's no limit to what you've already paid, proven by the fact that Nebraska has paid more buyout money than any other school. We're the Enron of college sports.
That's right, Greg. Number one.
Travis, I have an opinion. An early opinion from Travis.
Hi, Travis.
I think fans need to stop demanding a return on investment. Spending money on a team is not an appreciating investment. You're choosing to spend that money knowing that. I'm not saying fans don't have a right to want a team to win and be good, or at least better, but I think it's really dumb to complain about using a lack of return on investment.
I heard, it was a baseball executive, I forget for which team, and he said, one World Series has an ROI of fill in the blank number of years of losing, like 20 years of losing. If I get the fan base one World Series, it's worth the cost. Whatever it costs is worth the losing that comes after it.
Stick around. You might get that payout one day. Or you might not. You might just take a bath. But it's a long bath. A long bath.
A good soak.
Swift writes,
Hi, Swift.
Is it the bigger issue here that we don't have good enough players? Guys are too slow compared to just about everybody. Swift, I've said this a lot over the last couple of days. I actually don't think that's the issue. I don't. I think.
So you think there's some scheme issues within that?
I think
inability of the receivers to break loose.
I think the reason why they look so slow is because they're doing too much. And I also think Nebraska is I think it's unfair to categorize the receivers in a way that they just aren't good. Like Jamal Banks has been a really productive player. And yeah, I think he's lacked some in the blocking department, and he's had a couple drops this year for sure. But I just think if Nebraska gets a lot more simple on offense, you can see where those guys will have success. If they find some of the things that those guys do well and do them, and the quarterback, hits the hitch and throws the football, gets it out on time. Yeah. Like, why are we talking? Why are we complaining about the talent? Like, Nebraska has a 5-star quarterback. Nebraska is a 5-star quarterback, and they have they have two really talented one really productive wide receiver and one really talented wide receiver. It's a pretty good combo. We all thought that at the beginning of the year.
That's more than the school normally has.
Absolutely, it's certainly more than they had last year, right? But what did they have last year that they don't have this year? Direction, a point. What's the point? Right? What are you trying to accomplish? Yeah, it's an identity. At least you start there, and then you sort of build off of that.
That was alluded to yesterday.
It sure was.
There is no real identity.
Yeah, and Dana Holgorsen certainly has an identity. That's for sure. Now, how much are you going to see it over the next 3 games? We'll see. I think you'll see tenets of it, but maybe not the whole meal quite yet. All right, we will be back. Let's talk some NFL with Allan Bell. Maybe firing coordinators will come up with AB.
Interesting.
Firing coordinators seems to be all the rage right now. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell, the AB3, on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're back, and we welcome in our dear friend, Allan Bell, driving the line. It's with us now via the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Allan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, kind sir. You doing all right?
Good. Are you in a car wash today or going through a drive-through? Where are we at?
No, I wish, man. You know, that car wash is exciting. Good Wi-Fi in there, too, man. I got to give credit on that one.
Super surprising. Yeah, I was amazed that your connection held the entire time. I would like to give you credit before we get moving. So did you really predict that there was going to be a tipped at the line interception last night by Matthew Stafford?
100%. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's where he gets into trouble the most. This Dolphins rush defense, dude, it's good, and they get their hands up. Yeah, 100%, man.
Wow. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, how much were you able to profit? Like, you obviously had the Stafford, because I know you're hey, let's just take the quarterbacks throw an interception, guy, yeah. And that hit last night. But were you able to get anything further off of like the tip ball aspect of it?
Yeah, so we got that one. We got two on an interception. But what we also got on the opposite side, man, and this is where the no-fly zone is really a lot of fun, is that Tua would have issues with the Rams' rush, so to say, and he would use dump-off as passes to the running back. So we got Raheem Mostert over 1.5 receptions at like plus 155, and then Devontae Chain over, I think, like 4.5 receptions, at plus 125. Yeah, a huge pass to the running backs game. So yeah, man, like it played out nicely.
Incredible. Well done. That's a good night. By the way, how often are you on the hey, let's just take both quarterbacks to throw an interception? It feels like more games than not in the NFL this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Like unless it's a game where you're going to have like a big blowout and it's going to be a blowout, I stay away from those because generally they just run the football and you just don't have any opportunities. But anytime, man, you have a pretty even game in the NFL and you're going to have over, 24, 25 pass attempts, for each quarterback, dude, you're getting picks, man. Like you're getting a shot at it. These defenses are just too good.
Okay, so let's go into a few of the results here from this weekend. There's a battle, I think. Well, I don't know if it's a battle because what I'm about to say is that nobody talks about either of these teams, but they are winning in sort of boring ways this year. The Steelers are one of them who got a road win in Washington this past weekend. And then we're going to take a moment today and we're going to end up talking about the Chargers, who I don't think I've brought them up on this show, a sports show, one time this year. I don't think we've talked about them at all. And yet it looks like they're going to be a really, really tough out this year. There's got to be value in the teams that nobody really is talking about, given that, there's not much expectations on them week by week.
Yeah. So, all right. So first off, the Steelers do not belong at 8-2. Yeah. They've earned it, right? Like, I mean, this team's unbelievable. But like, if you look at the roster, you're like, wait, how in the heck has this happened? Right. That just goes to show you Mike Tomlin is an amazing coach. Like he's just unbelievable, man. And give him credit. Like he's not only 8-2 and they've done a quarterback change in the middle of it. And like, everybody's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's unbelievably possible what he's doing. Right. And then you look at the Chargers. So if you had fun watching Michigan last year, now you got it in the NFL because that's exactly what the Chargers are, man. They're Michigan from last year. And I say that positive. They run the football.
Totally.
They do not turn the ball over. They do not make mistakes, and they're going to beat you 24-10.
And their defense is really good.
It's really good, man. And like he went into the draft and immediately just drafted nothing but offensive linemen because he knows, man. Like that's the biggest supply-demand deficit in the NFL in terms of positional groups. There's just no O-linemen out there, right? So it's what's amazing is that Jim Harbaugh, his quote-unquote system works everywhere. And the reason is that it's not a system. He's just a damn good football coach, right? Like he he will immediately make your fundamentals better. Like, he's the guy, like, if you're in like a small town, and you've got like, say 2 sons that are like 10 and 12 and you want them to get baseball lessons or football, whatever, like, that's who you go to.
Yeah.
He will immediately make your kids fundamentally sound. They don't strike out anymore. They're drawing walks. You know what I mean? Like, he's just that good. And it's like, I remember people saying, like, I don't know if the gimmick's going to work in the NFL. Well, number one, he's already went to a Super Bowl. Number two, it ain't a gimmick. It's just good coaching. Like, that's what he does, man. So, yeah, credit to him. And you know what? They're quiet. Exactly how he wants them. Nobody's saying a word.
Well, I mean, eventually because we were obsessed with Justin Herbert. And then I think last year with Staley, it kind of was like, oh boy, I'm not really sure which way this is going. Justin Herbert is currently playing the best football of his career, which is another credit to Jim Harbaugh. And like you said, how good of a coach he is. They just, it's blocking and tackling and solid quarterback play and defense. I mean, I wondered what he would turn that team into, who's been so sporadic and the variance has been so wide on them. We talked about them as in the context of like, this is the weirdest team. They're never in a normal game. Now they're in only normal games, and that's only because of one guy, the coach.
100%. Yeah, and like Justin Herbert is J.J. McCarthy on steroids. Like, he's the perfect quarterback for Harbaugh. He's got a good arm. He's tough, and he does not make mistakes. Like, he will throw the ball away. He'll live for another down. He's not afraid to punt it, but he knows, right? Like, Harbaugh knows Herbert doesn't throw picks. He just doesn't do it, man. He's got a nice, good, solid, mechanical, like, arm. And if they weren't playing in the same division as a team that's apparently on a Ouija board vision quest this year in the Chiefs that can win in any way imaginable, like, we'd be talking about them as a high seed winning a division going to the playoffs. But unfortunately, as long as 15's over there, hey, buddy, good luck.
Yep. I was just going to ask you about the Chiefs, and let's put them in the same group as, so we just grouped the Chargers and the Steelers together. Let's group the Chiefs and the Lions together as everybody's doing this week. Which team is more? People say team of destiny. They have magic fairy dust. Obviously, it's from it emanates from the coaches, but which team has more of it right now? Because honestly, when that in the Sunday night game, when Dan Campbell's doing the interview and it's tape delayed and they're like, hey, we're going to go get a pick. And then they immediately get a pick. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing.
I know. And it's like everybody, like, we all were kind of the same thing across the country. Like, Jared Goff threw his 5th pick, and we're all like, oh my God, this is like hell on earth. But then we all went and looked at the score and we're like, they're only down 7. Like, this game is not over. And Houston apparently has stopped scoring here. Like, you could see it on DeMeco Ryan's face. Like, he knew. He was like, oh, this ain't good at all. But, like, the way that the Chiefs do it, like that, like what the Lions did, the Chiefs are like, oh, we've done that. Like, we're not even concerned about doing that. Like, the Chiefs are finding new ways to go about doing it. They're like, oh, we can take you in overtime. We can block a field goal. We can block extra point. Like, the Chiefs are going to be doing it in crazy ways. And like we said in week 1, it's like, stop letting this team. It's like those, comic book movies, where like the guy falls in like nuclear slime and now like he gets stronger. It's like the Chiefs are finding ways, man. Like, this is not good for everybody.
Yeah, you make a good point. Maybe we could prevent them from falling in the nuclear slime. Like, maybe we have to let the Chiefs win via blowout a whole bunch to give them a false sense of security, so that way they don't feel so inevitable and impervious to pain.
What we do, you're exactly right. What we do is we send in the Titans, all right? Let the Chiefs beat them by 100.
Bring in the Titans. It's time.
And let me say real quick, like, we joke about that. Like, it's no joke how awesome the Chiefs are, and like it really is a pleasure to watch them every week.
It
like,
is.
The team is awesome, dude. They're well coached. They're fun.
I know you want to hate them, but honestly, I really get a kick out of how many wins they're able to just rip off in a variety of different ways. One more thing before we're out here, Allan. We've talked about this before. It's another, and it hit again this week. Two things: the coach extension fade and the coach fired tail. The Saints come through again on the coach fired tail. For whatever reason, these teams always get up after their coach gets fired. And the Saints came through for us again this week.
It's amazing. You're exactly right. Like, you had nailed it. Like, this thing happens every time. And I also love, like, the interim in the first game. Whenever the first big fourth down decision comes, they always go for it. Like, things are changing around here, and it never works, ever. It always fails. However, they win the game. Like, it's amazing. You're exactly right. Like, you have pinpointed and nailed this, and, like, it's the best bet in sports, 100%.
It only comes around a couple times a year, but when it does, it's a beautiful thing. AB, Thursday night, we have actually a good one. We have Commanders and Eagles. We're on a nice little run of good Thursday night games now. Anything you're looking ahead for in a couple nights here in that game?
Yeah, I'm excited about this one, man. Watch the total, right? Last night it was 49. Might be at 48.5 right now. It's a division game. Both teams kind of want to run the football a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if that total drops a lot. So if you're looking to play the under, I wouldn't waste much time, man. I'd go ahead and do it now. But it's going to be a good one, man. I can't wait.
Love it. All right. Appreciate it, AB. Great stuff as always. Congrats on that tip ball win. That had to feel really good. We'll talk to you later.
It did. See you, boys. Y'all be good. Thank
Allan Bell of Driving the Line. What a call. What a call. I mean,
put yourself out there. Untether yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I just would say on the radio show is like, see, it happened. It came through. But to actually go in, put your money where your mouth is and profit off of it, man, that is an absolutely beautiful thing. All right, we will return. We'll have Josh's odd news for the first time this week on the other side. The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
That's right, Josh. I've been in odd news drought since Friday.
That's right.
This
yeah.
will be good.
Yeah.
I got to get caught up on some things.
Well, a lot of coaches have said a lot of odd things into the microphone the last few days, and you're all going to hear about them.
Yeah.
We begin with your guy, the new coach of the Saints.
Yeah.
Darren Rizza. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, though.
I think that's wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, after Coach Riz's 20-17 win over the Falcons on
Rizzler?
Sunday, the Rizzler, yes, he said, quote, "I'm a pretty open guy," and then he proved himself to be right.
What did he say? I didn't see this.
Well, he told reporters, "This is how my day started. I get down to the Superdome. I go in the head coach's locker room, which I've never used before. So here I am early in the morning. I go to the bathroom. This is how my day started. I clogged the toilet." I'm like, this is going to be a crappy day, pun intended. I'm like, okay, this is really not a great start to the day. Here we go. And so really feeling like the head coach of an NFL team right now, I'm like, really? This is really how we're going to start my day?
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, bad vibes right out of the gate.
It's yeah, you would if it was me, I would go, "Oh, that's a sign of things to come."
Yeah. But it wasn't.
It was no. Saints won.
Not on that day anyway.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has to continue to do this.
Yes.
Be the head coach of the Saints, which seems pretty difficult at the moment.
It would be a challenge for sure. There's easier teams to
Alvin
coach.
Kamara's just dropping open touchdowns, going down the sideline. You know, that happened in a win. Imagine what could happen in a loss. There's going to be some of that. Yeah, it's tough. It's never the way you want to get. Never the way you want to get your day started. You know, I don't know that I'd like to add too much color to that story, Josh. You know, like I could talk about some personal experiences, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, no,
I'd rather not.
We'll let him.
Just a bad start to the day.
Yep.
And you guys know what I'm talking about.
We have breaking news out of Athens, Georgia. It appears that Kirby Smart has finally disciplined a player of his.
Really?
Yeah. Really interesting scenario.
Oh, this is after the guy was jumping up and down and yeah. That was a funny video.
It was. It made me laugh. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart got his first look yesterday at the viral video of Bulldogs safety Jake Pope.
Yeah, my friend Jake Pope.
Celebrating with Ole Miss fans Saturday. A reporter asked Smart about the video, seeing as how Georgia lost and Ole Miss fans were happy because their team won. Why would Jake Pope be celebrating with Ole Miss fans?
My friend Jake Pope.
Well, Smart responded, quote, "What an idiot." Ole Miss knocked off Georgia.
He did say that. It was a funny video, too.
It showed a video showed Pope smiling and jumping around with what appeared to be family and friends of Rebels O-lineman Reese McIntyre. Pope and McIntyre played high school football together in, Connor?
Buford, Georgia.
Buford, Georgia. That's right,
Home
Connor.
of many people.
Many excellent quarterbacks.
Now, he never played with young Dylon because Dylon only went there for 10 seconds, and that was last year. And Jake Pope is a redshirt sophomore. But Nebraska had some more Buford guys in their roster, too. Let me see who he was teammates with.
You look up the Buford guys. I will
Jake
continue
Pope.
with Kirby Smart's comments. What an idiot. I mean, what just stupid. I didn't see it until today. But he's embarrassed about it. He's upset about it. That's obviously a childhood friend of his. Grew up, played with him there at Buford. Just not real smart. But to be honest with you, I don't have time to waste energy on that. My focus is on Tennessee. I'm not worried about that.
It was funny to watch the guy. So he did a Notes app deal yesterday. And he was like, "Hey, look, I was celebrating with family and I regret it. And it was a mistake and all these things." And I'm like, "You're forgiven. Probably not in Georgia, but you're forgiven by me."
Yeah.
Teammates in the same class that Jake Pope at Buford, Georgia, his senior year, 2022. Isaiah Bond.
I know that name.
He, initially went to Alabama and now is at Texas. Let me see. Buford. Wow, a lot of Bufords on this list. Jake Pope, obviously, was a second-rated guy from Buford in that class. Rylan Gandy, Malik Spencer, VJ Payne, Victor. Come on. There's got to be a Husker on that. Maybe they didn't get a Husker in this class, in previous classes. Who are the Husker Buford guys?
Husker Buford guys.
I'm sorry. I'm asking Air right now. Gabe
Irvin Jr.
Gabe Irvin. That was the one. And then they have Marquise and Mario Buford, who are not from Buford. Their last names are just
okay.
Buford, which makes it mildly confusing. Indeed. Yes, Gabe Irvin was the other one. Okay.
Finally, we another head coach saying odd things into a microphone. I present to you all the Syracuse Orange head football coach, Fran Brown.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I assume you've seen this?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what you're about to say, but
Okay.
I like me some Fran Brown.
First-year head coach, largely been a success there at Syracuse. However, during yesterday's press conference, Brown revealed his rather unorthodox routine after losses, showing he takes them pretty hard. Coming into the season, Brown and Orange were, that's a weird sentence, were profiled as a dark horse contender in the ACC, with Kyle McCord at the helm.
People forget.
However, with losses in 2 of their last 3 ACC games, any chance of competing for a conference title may be gone. Brown addressed reporters following the team's Week 11 loss to Boston College, saying he hadn't showered after the loss until Monday morning because he believes he doesn't deserve the soap after a loss. Honestly, I've got like a ritual when we lose. I didn't even get into the shower until earlier this morning. I'd just be mad.
You gotta teach yourself a lesson.
Brush my teeth. It's like, I don't deserve soap. I don't deserve to do all that. I'm just focused on trying to get back and try to make sure that our players mentally understand that I let them down.
Love it. Football guy.
They didn't do it. I just wake up all night, especially when we lose. I wake up like, damn, that really happened that way. And then I just move on. There is a process I follow every week. Win, lose, or draw. The only thing is my wife. I can't sleep in the bed if we lose because I'm not going to get in the shower for that day. I'm just mad. I sit there and my breath stinks, but I'm just kind of locked in on certain things in a certain way. You got to earn the right to do certain things. So winners get washed and losers just have to wait a little bit.
Yep. We're going to roll around the mud a little bit.
What an all-time quote.
Love it. Great job by Fran Brown. Excellent, excellent job. Asian Joe writes in.
Hi, Asian Joe.
Full question. Do you deserve the soap?
I like it. I'm ready to ask it. Do you deserve the soap?
I like to think with my hard work every day. Well, I don't take showers at night. I know people have differing opinions on this.
Oh, one former host
yes
took about 7 showers a day.
Guy loves showers. But I take showers in the morning. I have earned nothing at that point. I've coddled myself with morning showers for years. I've
never thought of it like that. And I think it's safe to say, Connor, we've never discussed this. We don't win every day.
No, but
we win more. We're a winning program.
I like to. It's not about the results as much as the process.
Ooh,
I
love that.
I like to be able to say to myself at the end of the day, like, did you do everything you could? And yes, there are some days where you don't. You don't earn it.
Man, I
you
really
don't earn the right.
string together a sentence. I really didn't have anything interesting to say. Nothing happened in the world for me to comment on.
But did I put my all into it? I want to be able to say yes, but I can't truthfully say yes every single day. Everybody has those days.
Sure.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Part of life.
Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
Great lessons in the odd news today. Come back with the noon hour, and we'll have NFL reaction, overreaction at the bottom of the hour. Josh's bottom 5 NFL teams is coming up as well, but let's take a look at the playoff tonight.
Playoff?
Yeah, that's right. And if the SEC is overrated, or if the Big Ten is overrated, many things to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Texter writes in, I think Fran Brown has it backwards. Wouldn't you want to wash that stank? You take an L and you wash that stank right off you?
That's certainly a way to look at it. But
honey, don't come in here. You smell like an L.
I mean,
take a shower.
Are you really learning anything if you just hit the reset button, so to speak, by taking a shower?
You want to swim in it for a couple days.
Like, ooh,
okay.
Boy, I hope I learn. I never want to feel like this again.
Lee says I won't respect him fully until he commits completely and doesn't shower until they win another game.
Wow, high stakes.
That is high stakes.
I don't know if I can be. I don't know if I can be writing checks like that at Syracuse.
Let's see what they got coming up.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
you could kind of strategically deploy this method. They have no guaranteed wins left.
Ooh.
Cal, UConn, and Miami.
At Cal, long trip.
Yep. Have you heard? Can I tell you a little something about bowl eligible UConn?
Yeah, they
that exists.
7-win UConn, right?
I believe that's right. Yep. How come other programs can go to bowls and Nebraska can't? It's a great question. I can't answer it for you. Maybe Dana Holgorsen can.
Got mental problems, man.
Yep. And then Miami to finish off the year. Is there a chance that Miami just goes completely sideways after, playing with fire the entirety of the year and now actually losing?
It's possible, right? Unlikely.
With a Mario
improbable.
Cristobal coach team,
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is. I do think it is on the table. Elsewhere,
although they do play Wake next.
Yeah, that probably won't do it. USC has made an announcement. They are wearing. So this is just a big game of cat and mouse all week.
Oh God, what are you about to say?
So USC says we're changing our quarterback. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Try and prepare for that. Nebraska says we're going to bring in an offensive coordinator who has nothing to do with what we've been doing this entire season. So we're going to let you go ahead and figure that out. And extra kidney shot. We're not going to tell you if our quarterback's going to play or not.
Is he dead? We don't know.
We'll see.
Is he like Bruce Wayne in the gulag with a broken back? We don't know. We won't tell you.
USC has responded. They are trying to put together another counterpunch to that big swing that Nebraska took. They'll be wearing their alternate uniforms, throwback uniforms. That's right. You say USC, an alternate uniform?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying right now to myself.
It's a throwback.
To what?
It's just stripes on the shoulder. They basically
For the first time in a long time, we're bringing back a classic, originally introduced in 1972 by John McKay.
They just look like Minnesota now, basically.
Wow.
It's still yellow pants. It's still maroon top, but it's stripes on the shoulder.
Just very quickly, can we stop with the uniform reveal videos? I just do a graphic. Just tell me what you're wearing. I don't need to sit through a minute of here it comes. It's coming. It's coming. Are you ready for it?
I'll amend that. I will say, if you're going to do a video, fine. We have a lot of creative people out there who could do a lot of interesting things with these things. But at the end of the video, the last 5 seconds, I request that you just put the full uniform on there. Basically, the equivalent of a graphic.
Okay.
At the end of the video. Can you do that for me? That would be my request. I just want to be able to digest it a little bit easier without having to pause and get out the Zoom function on my computer. I know. I ask of a lot.
These players look really into this. They cannot be this into this. These players cannot be this excited for this uniform. It's a nice uniform. Looks fine.
Anything different at USC? I mean, right?
Okay, maybe.
Like it's something a little different. And it's at USC where they never have an alternate uniform. They never do anything different.
These guys do look pretty badass riding around in that convertible.
I mean, Nebraska now, I don't think Nebraska players were too pumped when they saw the uniforms with the blue outlines last year.
Trash.
We do not talk about how dumb those were enough. But if you threw some different uniforms in their lockers, I bet they'd be pretty excited about it. I bet they'd be pretty fired up in that video.
Yeah.
Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. If the Huskers win out, who is the best team they beat this year?
Oh. Okay. Colorado, right?
So somebody asked the question a couple weeks ago, like, hey, do you think if Nebraska and Colorado played today, like what would happen?
It doesn't matter.
I thought about that some more, and because I immediately said Colorado in the moment, because that they're
playoff bound.
They're winning and Nebraska is losing, right? We're doing the results game a little bit with that. But like this is what makes it so frustrating. It's buried inside of this, of what makes it so frustrating for Nebraska. I don't know what we're going to get from them any given week. If you told them, hey, we're going to line it up and play against Colorado again, is it possible that they bring the same fire under their butts that they had in that game that led to them like destroying Shedeur Sanders in the first 15 minutes of that game? Yeah. Like I want to find that. Where is that? That's what makes it so frustrating, because it clearly exists in there somewhere. Find it. That's it's part of the key in the final few games of the season. Okay, so the playoff rankings come out tonight, Josh.
They sure do.
There will be a prediction at the end of this. I'd like to take you through the SEC. Here's what we got going on right now. There are 7 teams who have 1 or 2 losses in the Southeastern Conference this year. Each of those 7 teams only has 1 or 2 losses overall on the season also. So there's no undefeateds left, and It's very difficult to find any edges. And it's going to be even more difficult because here's what we have. We have Texas at 8-1 and 4-1. We have Tennessee at 8-1 and 5-1. We have Alabama at 7-2, 4-2. We have 2-loss Ole Miss. We have 2-loss Georgia. We have 1-loss Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And yes, we do indeed have 2-loss Missouri. 7 teams, each of which have 3 games left to play. There are only 2 games the rest of the season in the SEC that feature one of these 2 teams playing each other, or 2 of these teams in the same game, I should say.
But they are the 4 teams at the top playing each other.
Texas and Texas A&M at the end,
Uh-huh.
and then Tennessee and Georgia this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Better hope that breaks right, SEC.
So, yes, it is possible that Tennessee goes from 1 loss to 2 losses. In fact, I'd even say likely that Tennessee goes from 1 loss to 2 losses this week, and that creates something.
Can I just real quick push back on that a little bit?
Sure.
I mean, Ole Miss's defense was able to push Georgia around.
Yeah, no,
Tennessee's got a good defense.
You're right. I should probably stop giving that reverence to Georgia.
I mean,
Carson Beck sucks.
Tennessee always Tennessee's.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning on.
I thought Ole Miss always Ole Miss, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I hope those sentences made sense to people.
You don't know what you're going to get out of these teams. And then Texas and Texas A&M play each other at the end of the year, and everybody says that Texas is the best team in the conference and the national championship contender out of the conference. But I do think it's possible that Texas A&M wins that football game. It's going to be loaded up at Kyle Field at the end of the year.
Okay, it's at Kyle Field?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You thought that they were throwing stuff on the field in some of these other games. Wait until that game happens. That game will be the game in which the most stuff will get thrown on the field this year. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Because
Guaranteed.
They haven't played in a while, right?
Texas and Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Since Texas A&M left the
2011 last time they played, and that is a sore spot for Texas A&M.
That is true. Mm-hmm. These 2 schools do not like each other.
They do not.
Well, Texas A&M mostly hates Texas. I don't know how Texas feels that much.
Texas probably is like, why are you obsessed with me?
Will Jim Schlossnagle be on the sideline?
I doubt it.
Would increase the likelihood that stuff gets thrown, though. I'll tell you that. So, long story short here, there's only 2 games between any of those 7 teams in the final 3 weeks of the season. And if you're interested in super chaos, both of those games feature a current 2-loss team going up against a current 1-loss team. So last weekend was a weekend where it was all sort of about the SEC highlighting their big 2 games with Georgia and Ole Miss, and then with what was the other big one? Georgia and Ole Miss and
LSU
and Alabama. Yeah. Yes, sorry. LSU, by the way, out of this conversation with a 3-loss team at the moment. But I don't know, if a lot of stuff breaks right in front of them, they can be like, hey, we're still here. They'll probably make that case.
2 losses in conference. I mean, I guess I don't know the tiebreakers in that conference.
It got kind of even more jumbled, and the power sort of shifted back to the Big Ten. You look at the Big Ten right now, and they have 4 teams that are sitting at the top, and there's almost no threat of any of those teams missing the playoff.
Right. I don't know, barring a massive upset to somebody.
Right. I don't necessarily see that on the table at this point. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana are all going to the playoff. If you look at them on the playoff predictors and the web on all those websites that do that, each of them are above 90% right now for good reason. Because if Indiana loses to Ohio State, that doesn't matter that much. And then they won't go to the Big Ten championship game because Ohio State will go. And if Ohio State loses to Oregon again, so what? And if Oregon beats Ohio State, it just makes it a little slightly more convoluted at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State gets the bye. Oregon doesn't. Ohio State's probably, they're definitely a top 4 team at that point. I don't know if they're a top 5 ranking,
I like that aspect.
They get the bye.
I like that aspect of the Big Ten title game is, like a lot of these conferences for the bye. Like that's Makes it more interesting. Makes it not for nothing,
It
right?
puts something on the line.
Right.
And of course, there is the downside of if you're a 2-loss team going into that game and you lose, you fall to 3 losses. And then what's your, can you make the case still? So I think it's interesting that we're looking at these teams and we're thinking about who has a chance to win the national championship. And everybody looks at Oregon right now and they're like, yeah, I just don't know. Have they really been tested? I think that being battle tested does matter. Who is the most battle tested team that is going to make the playoff at this point?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I got an answer for you. You're not going to like it.
Oh, okay. What's your answer?
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh no, Connor.
I told you.
No, I
told you you wouldn't like the answer.
I don't. I thought you were going to say Texas, and then I went, well,
it's not them.
I don't really remember the last time Texas was in a big game.
I mean, they were in it against Georgia, and they lost, and they crapped their pants in the first half. Then they threw stuff on the field. Love throwing stuff on the field.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably Alabama at this moment.
Damn it.
And so that's something to keep in mind.
No wonder Nick Saban quit. This is a grinder of a schedule.
As they as we sort these teams out, we find out who's going to win the national championship and who's going to be in what spot in the playoff. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the ranking tonight. Would you like a prediction?
Oh yeah, I think that's your job.
Okay, not your job. I thought you were the topics guy.
I'm making it a topic.
I thought you were the topics maker.
AP really pushed Indiana up.
Yeah,
this weekend.
I mean, they're going up no matter what because
sure
Georgia lost
and
Miami lost. So Oregon's still the one.
Okay.
Ohio State is still the 2.
Sure, but not the 2 seed.
Correct. We'll talk about that in a second because it's going to create some very fun matchups. Texas is the bye in the SEC, and they are ranked 3rd. And then basically everybody just shifts up a little bit, and it'll be an interesting discussion in that 9, 10, 11 area, because what do you do with Miami, who now just has the 1 loss, Georgia, who has the 2 and are a playoff stalwart, and many think very, very highly of them. There's a couple more ACC teams that could probably, stake claim to this. SMU, what do we do with SMU? What do we do with the second Big 12 team? All that stuff. And then, so just to go through the rest of the rankings, and you sort of game it out a little bit. I got Penn State 4. This is a prediction, not what I think. Tennessee 5, Indiana 6, BYU 7, Notre Dame 8, Alabama 9, Miami 10, Georgia 11, Boise 12. So in that case, the byes would go to Oregon, Texas, BYU, and Miami. We'll see what they do with the projected champion of the ACC. This would create matchups in the first round of these games. Oregon hosting Boise. Ohio State hosting Boise.
Okay.
Oregon gets a bye. Penn State hosting Georgia. Fascinating. Tennessee hosting Alabama, and Indiana hosting Notre Dame. An in-state playoff game hosted by Indiana. It'd be a lot of fun. I mean, right now, the Big Ten's getting 4. The SEC is getting at least 4. The Big 12 and the ACC look like one bid leagues. And the Big Ten doesn't have a claim to a 5th team at this point, not even remotely close to one, really. The SEC could get a 5th, and then you have your group of 5 team, and that's kind of your story at this point. There's a lot of stuff that has to sort itself out in the SEC because, like I said, there's all these 2-loss teams and the 1-loss conference teams at this point. But that's sort of what I'm thinking about a little bit tonight. Where are those teams going to get slotted? We get a couple texts here.
I love your bracket, by the way.
Great matchups, huh?
Print that. Let's do that.
Doc says,
what's up, Doc?
You're assuming Indiana isn't going to beat Ohio State. If Indiana beats Ohio State, I don't see Ohio State making the playoff.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to disagree with that also.
Yeah, they're what, 2 right now?
Ohio State has one loss to the number one team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They would have another loss to another top five team,
team,
and then they wouldn't go to the Big Ten championship game. They'd be a 2-loss. They're in.
I just
Lock
don't,
'em.
I don't think they'd fall far enough.
Yeah, Ohio State's making the playoff. No matter, I mean, unless they lose to Indiana and Michigan.
Don't do that, Ryan Day.
Many bad things will happen if Ohio State loses to Michigan this year. Would not be advisable for Ryan Day or anybody involved with the Ohio State football program.
Ryan Day's family, Day's family's family.
Any player's family,
Mm-hmm.
anybody's anything. Anybody who lives in the state of Ohio. It would be bad for all of those people. Can't have it this year. So there's a certain pressure that comes along with that, that's for sure. But yeah, Ohio State, that's crazy. Ohio State's going to play. And I don't see, frankly, I don't see Indiana beating Ohio State. Do you? After Indiana, I mean, like, I don't want to use this as my anti-Indiana slander again, but like, they actually played a team with talent this week. And they were pushed. And they looked clunky on offense.
Yeah.
Right. Against a pretty good defense still.
Pretty good.
Obviously, they got out of there because they have more offense than quarterbackless Michigan, which I don't think is anything to write home about. But I mean, I don't see that.
I think Sleepy Gus Johnson's going to have a sleepy time calling Ohio State, Indiana.
We'll see. We'll see what kind of stops they pull out for that game. Is there an advanced line on this?
Gotta be.
Ohio State a 9.5 point favorite this game.
Okay. That feels
to take place in 2 weeks.
A little high, I guess.
Oh, really? I kind of thought it'd be closer to 2 touchdowns.
Good question here on the YouTube chat from Sal.
Hello, YouTube chat from Sal.
Does undefeated Army get in over 1-loss Boise?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean, we already have evidence to point to this. Here's the thing with, like, if you're talking about right now, here's the thing with Army. They play Notre Dame this week. And so they will stake their, like, if Army is undefeated with the win over Notre Dame, then they have a lot better claim to it. But still, Boise would have just the one loss to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fun factor versus the respecting of the troops.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you respect the troops or do you like Ashton Genty?
I like Ashton Genty, and I think Boise State, this is going to sound really weird, so on the front end, I apologize. Boise State's one loss is better than Army's one win. Does that make sense?
Boise's, what you're saying is Boise's body of work is better. You know,
I guess, yeah. I understand. Undefeated is better than a team with one loss. I understand.
Army will have beaten Navy.
Mm-hmm. A very good Navy team.
Right.
I believe Boise State will have a conference championship game. Not that the opponent in that would be anything, but they love themselves a conference champion, don't they?
Do you have any earthly idea who would be
number 2 in the Mountain West?
Yes.
It'd be more fun if I guessed, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be only if I knew the answer.
Oh, okay. Fresno's struggling right now. Nevada's struggling right now. Are these teams even in the Mountain West? I don't know.
Fresno is. Nevada is.
I'll go San Diego State. I know it's not the right answer.
It's definitely wrong. They're 3-6 at the moment.
Yeah.
Currently, the Colorado State Rams are undefeated.
Oh. Hello.
But there is, and they don't play Boise, so that's going to be the matchup.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean Boise has a 3-point loss to Oregon. They've they have some close wins in conference. UNLV is a pretty respected team. Like that's probably better than anything Army has at this point. If they beat Notre Dame, the story does change a little bit.
There's an argument.
Yeah,
an argument I would listen to.
Be interesting to see how it's all laid out tonight. And there's a lot to figure out in the final 3 weeks when hardly any of these teams play each other. There's like there's like 5 big games left in the college football season.
Yeah.
I know it's a really sad way to put it.
We're dwindling.
We have, I mean, in the Big Ten, there's like, I know people care about Michigan and Ohio State, but that's like for the playoff purposes, that's not a big game this year.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Ohio State loses, but you could say that for any game. So let's just take that aside.
Ohio State,
Indiana is the big game in the Big Ten that we have left. Penn State doesn't have anybody. And Indiana plays Purdue. Indiana plays Ohio State and Purdue. Like that's it. That is the one single game in the Big Ten that we have. And then there's Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, which is this week, and whoever wins the conference championships in the Big 12 and in the ACC. That's it. Those are your big games left in college football this year. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. College football is basically over. Get used to it. It's basketball season, Josh.
Basketball?
Yep.
Hoops?
That's right. Hoops indeed.
Hoops? I'm not ready for hoops.
Oh, get ready. There's no college football games that are worth watching left.
Really?
I mean, there's 5, like the 5 I just mentioned.
Okay.
That's the story. All right, we'll come back. NFL Reaction, Overreaction is up on the other side on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We mentioned today our winner four-quarter pick'em this past week, Holly. Congratulations.
Shout out, Holly.
And this week is officially open for the normies. It's open for everybody, even if you're not a subscriber to 1620 The Email, but you should be for the record. Get in. This is it. We only have one $2,500 regular size check to give away to somebody. And it could be you. So even if you haven't played the entirety of the season so far.
Yeah. Don't let that stop you.
We always like to give it to somebody who has and who listens on a regular basis. But guess what? We don't have any control over who wins the damn games. So get in there. Even if you haven't played all season long, 25K four-quarter pick'em is open for you all. But I will say, if you have played all season long, there is a season-long prize for the winner of the total standings.
Oh.
I remember that from the beginning 10 weeks ago when we did this.
Look at the big brain on you.
You could have a chance to win $2,500 this week right now. 1620thezone.com. Josh, let's do some NFL reaction, overreaction. We had to put the writers to work, or you had to put your writers to work as the
That's right.
As the executive producer and the, of course, primary stakeholder in the show. Don't know why it's called the Connor Happer Show with all that put together, but we've woken the writers and they have put some things together for us today. What do they have?
Take number one. Aaron Rodgers is the problem.
So it's kind of process of elimination here, right? We fired the coach. We've changed personnel. We've done a variety of different things to placate the 40-year-old quarterback. And yet, I think, before we get too far into the slanderous Aaron Rodgers category, because you could go really far down that way if you'd like, I think he's an adequate quarterback. But they're putting pieces around him, and like they're gearing up, and there's this idea out there that he's a quarterback that could do things so far and beyond what you're used to, that he can, bring you a Super Bowl, right? He can really do some great things. I don't think that he can do that anymore. I think he's fine. And the stats will show you that he's fine. No more than a middle-of-the-road NFL quarterback at this point. He's made some mistakes. He's made some bad throws. But that wasn't – I don't think that's what the Jets thought they were getting when they got him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 40, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if that's on him or on the Jets, right? So I think it's a pretty complicated answer when you pull it apart that way.
I'll agree with you there.
I don't think it's a crime for him to not be the guy that he used to be, being 40 years old, coming off an Achilles injury.
We'll do the slanderous Aaron Rodgers stuff in the next segment. The Jets are 3-7. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know enough about O-line play to tell you if the Jets O-line is good or bad, but I will tell you this. The Jets defense is 10th in points allowed. They're pretty good. Top 10.
It's gotten worse since Saleh got fired.
Sure. So I kind of lean like that isn't the problem. Jets are 17th in passing yards.
He doesn't
pretty middle of the road.
He doesn't have a lot of time to throw, but his calling card for his career has been he gets the ball out quick, and he can make up for some of these things. It's just not all there anymore. Like I said,
he looks like a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury.
Like I said, not a crime, but if you're hoping that you could get Superman to bring you, to cover up all these other problems, you don't have that. And so there needs to be an admission there.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Jets are 30th in running. Yeah. In rushing.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
He is part of the problem.
I'm going to guess the O-line is also part of the problem.
So I guess this is I don't think he's the problem. So I guess it's an overreaction.
I'll say the problem, but that's
just because you don't like him.
I don't like him. Okay. I don't like the guy.
Nobody likes him.
Yeah. Take number 2. Caleb Williams is getting Dylan Raiola.
What does that mean, writers?
What are you talking about?
What does getting Dylan Raiola mean? We can't use that as a adjective. We can't say that. That's our baby. It's not a definitive answer yet. So I was reading Stephen Ruiz's piece on The Ringer last night on he went through 24 questions about the NFL like at the beginning of the year and sort of went back and readdressed them, and one of them was about Caleb Williams.
Accountability.
And I want to read you what he wrote about Caleb Williams and the situation he's in right now.
All right.
You tell me if it sounds familiar. Caleb Williams, on the other hand, is the rookie quarterback who's been being asked to operate like a veteran. From the jump, the Bears have trusted the first pick to call his own protections and adjust plays at the line of scrimmage. Oh, no. Williams needs to speed up his process. Every rookie does, but he's getting through his progressions more often than not and giving his receivers time to run their routes before he goes into creation mode. The results aren't there yet. Williams' deep ball accuracy has been the primary issue, but Chicago's offense is also giving him minimal support. Play calling and an awful run game have been the two biggest debacles.
Oh, no.
Despite that, his tape is encouraging. Good results should follow if the Bears coaching staff gets its bleep together.
Oh, no.
I didn't really see too many things that didn't apply to Dylan Raiola in there.
That's all
like
him.
You could have copied and pasted that and been like, whoa. Nebraska got problems. They probably had to fire their offensive coordinator. And guess what? The Bears did this morning. It's amazing. Nebraska handshake meme the Bears. Not good.
Oh.
They are putting a lot on him. Caleb. Young Caleb.
And many people in the NFL take sphere are saying you can't do that yet. Yeah. Why are you doing that?
Maybe you need to go to an offense that makes it simpler and more easy for your quarterback and just allow him to get his feet off the ground a little bit instead of throwing everything on his plate right away and having him make checks and reads and treating him like a veteran who's in his 4th and 5th year and his experience in all of these things. Maybe you got to lay a base first.
Interesting.
This is an obvious non-overreaction because it is quite the handshake meme from Nebraska and the Bears at this moment. I just thought that was really, because I was reading that last night and I thought, oh my God, what is this? Who's this about?
I know this guy.
Yeah. All right, next.
Take number 3, the Chargers, who were quite possibly the quietest team in the NFL.
A take by the writers. Interesting.
Will be a tough out in the postseason.
Absolutely. This is a complete reaction. Now, they have to make the postseason. Yeah. And Josh, this is one of the things we like to do when we talk about these individual teams. We like to look at their upcoming schedules.
Oh, I love a schedule rundown.
Why don't you go ahead and read them to me, because I'm going to give you a little hint up front. It is scary. It's not pretty. Life gets a little tougher on the Chargers coming up here.
Oh God.
Soon. But they are 6-3. Justin Herbert's playing good football, and usually quarterback defense combo plus really good head coach means you're probably at the very least playoff bound.
Also, great job by the writers to start talking about the Chargers, because 3 of their next 4 games are solo window games.
That's right. They haven't been, I don't think they've had a primetime game yet this year. Have they?
I don't know.
Think back.
Maybe
was that Steelers game primetime week 3? Nope, that was a noon game. Was the Chiefs game? That was a mid-afternoon. No, and no. So they haven't had an exclusive window game yet this year.
They host
They're about to have 2 in a row.
They host the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Then they host the Ravens on Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Then they travel to the Atlanta Falcons. Then they travel to Arrowhead for Sunday Night Football
against the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right. That's who plays at Arrowhead.
Thank you. I just wanted to make it clear.
They host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then they host the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
And then it lightens up the last 2 weeks of the year, but they are road games at the Patriots and at the Raiders.
Yeah, so they got to hold serve here. I mean, they have to find a way to get out of this.
Can you go 3-3 over that stretch?
Yeah, but you're about to be seeing a lot more of the Chargers and hearing more about the Chargers.
Nobody's talking about the Chargers.
I just wanted to bring it into your field of vision here. Jim Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh all over this thing.
Number 1 in points against, 13 points a game.
He's spraying his Harbaugh juice all over the place. He's probably taking his shirt off at practice.
Definitely.
He's probably really happy to not be recruiting and have all these rules. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who loves football. That guy loves football. And that guy can freaking coach. My goodness. They were a dumpster last year. People were wondering if Justin Herbert was any good.
That's right. I was one of those people.
He's good. I mean, the coach made him good. And they're not even doing that much. It's like the numbers are insane. They're just
not. He's missed some games.
They're just winning games. And their defense is fantastic. So, yeah, they will be a tough out in the postseason.
Oh, he's played 9 games. Has he not missed any games?
No.
He played hurt then. Wow. What a trooper.
Yeah.
Take number 4. I know we might be talking about the Cowboys more in a moment.
Can you confirm?
I can confirm.
Okay.
But this writer says they are the worst team in the NFL. Reaction or overreaction?
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that was in there. I abstain.
Okay. All right, so I'm alone here. They might be the worst team in the NFL. If someone were to make the case that they were the worst team in the NFL, I wouldn't argue with them that much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I might try and poke holes in it, but I wouldn't argue with it that much. The Cowboys have been trailing by at least 20 points in each of their last 5 home games.
Oh my God. I knew they were winless at home this year.
Now they had to come back against the Ravens this year. But they didn't win the game. They came back to lose it, but they were down, I think, 28-0 or 28-3, I want to say, in that game, or it was bad. This, of course, includes last year's home playoff dud against the Green Bay Packers. No team in NFL history has ever been trailing by 20 points or more in 5 straight home games. The Dallas Cowboys are the first team to ever accomplish that disastrous feat.
The Patriots, the Panthers, these are bad football teams.
Yep.
They've never done that.
Not 5 times in a row.
Wow.
Wow is right.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's say it. That's an appropriate reaction. Worst team in the NFL.
We press on. The Daniel Jones era is over.
It needs to be. It's time.
You have enough.
You know who their backup is, Josh?
Oh, Tyrod Taylor?
Great guess. Drew Lock.
Oh. So it's going to be exactly the same.
What? I mean, Daniel Jones that's a tough hang. And he is not responsible for Tyrone Tracy fumbling in overtime on the first play. But Tyrone Tracy's been really good this year. Jones is, I mean, it's been really bad. And then they gave him a contract and it's still bad. Still can't believe what they did. Look at what they did to this team.
I've seen that.
Well, let's pay Daniel Jones to not pay Saquon Barkley. What an idea.
I've seen that meme of a still shot of the owner from Hard Knocks saying, "It would just kill me if Saquon went to Philly."
Well,
it's gonna.
He did. One more, Riders.
One more. You get no bonus points for playing the Chiefs close.
That's right. That is correct.
I think I agree with this.
You get no bonus points for playing the Chiefs close because everybody's playing the Chiefs close. Everybody plays the Chiefs close. That's the whole point of being the Chiefs now. The Chiefs are inventing new ways to do things, and they're going to have an entire season where they go undefeated and win every game by a point. in inexplicable ways. You don't believe me? Watch them. Watch them. There is an inevitability to that team. I talked about this yesterday that is just, it is unseen by the sports eye since the 2014 or 15 Kansas City Royals. They have devil magic. I don't know what's going on in that parking lot. Do not know what's going on over there. But was there ever a doubt that something ridiculous was going to happen on that field goal attempt?
How will they play a close game against the Panthers in 2 weeks?
They will.
Stay tuned.
They will.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Mhm.
It'll be close. That's NFL reaction, overreaction. Thanks, writers.
Good work.
Now it's Josh's time. His bottom 5 NFL teams. I know one team's going to be on there, but where will they be?
I don't know, Tub. Who's to say?
Coming up on 1620 The Zone. Let's find out who sucks. I was thinking about this segment last night, Josh, and I thought I wouldn't be mad if this turned into like since we get sort of repetitive week by week, if this turned into like just things that suck. Like, it's like things that suck from the weekend.
Okay.
You could put college teams in here. You could put news stories in here. I don't know. Just
now,
but you're the guy. So.
You got me excited there at the start because I did a total teardown. I said, you know what? I'm tired of talking about the Panthers. They've won like 2 straight, 2 or 3, something like that. We don't need to talk about the Panthers.
No.
We don't need to talk
Chuba Hubbard.
We don't need to talk about the Raiders. Like just these teams that are bad but not fun in any way, shape, or form. I got rid of them.
You eliminated them.
I said, get out of here. We don't need to.
Oh, good. Okay,
waste
that
time
accomplishes basically what I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, we're gonna make fun of 5 teams.
You're Dana Holgorsening this.
That's right. Hopefully it works.
Little spark.
God, come on. Take forever.
Number 5.
It's not a spark. We're looking for sustainability.
Yeah, we'll see. One thing at a time.
Number 5.
Be nice to get the spark.
It would. I would take it. The Indianapolis Colts. They're 4-6.
Yeah.
They're second place in the division.
Yeah.
A very bad division.
Yeah.
Why are they the only AFC South team on this list?
Because the Jags are eliminated.
Because
that's why.
There's drama in the halls of the Indianapolis Colts.
You eliminated
office.
the Jaguars and said the Colts are just the more put together version of the Jaguars. Put them on this list.
The Colts have lost 3 straight. They're sticking with Flacco. Pat McAfee is got this organization in his crosshairs, and that cannot be good. Whether he's right or wrong, him going on the air every single day and talking about how much of a dumpster fire the Colts organization is cannot be good for anyone inside that building.
Is that what he does?
That's what he's doing this week. He's gone on record and said, I'm sorry that I faulted Anthony Richardson for tapping out of a game. I'm sorry I went so hard on him because I see what is happening with this organization now. They don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson. You were right to ask to be out of that game.
Wow. Pat McAfee must really not care about ratings.
If he's talking about the Colts. Well,
let's talk about the Colts.
He is a former Colt.
I know, but
got to talk about what you know.
Got to hear Pat talk about the Colts today.
What's he got to say about the Colts? Let me dial in.
Yeah, they definitely are stinky. I appreciate them throwing it to Josh Downs every time, though. Do that more. I like that guy.
Are you fantasy owner of Josh? What's the name? Downs?
Downs.
Yes. First downs for Downs.
That's right.
That's what Connor wants.
Number 4.
Vibes are bad up there in Coltstown. Vibes are bad in the Windy City as well. The Chicago Bears are number 4.
Yeah.
They fired their OC. They've lost 3 straight. In those 3 games, they've only scored 27 points total. They have not scored a touchdown since October 27th. They're 30th in the league in passing. Connor.
This all goes back to that Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Did that Hail Mary, just kind of set them on a bad course this year? Because if they beat Washington, that's a huge win.
Yeah, very uplifting, right?
Can you believe Tyreek Stevenson was doing that still several weeks later? Yeah. It doesn't get easier for the Bears coming up. They have
got a run of divisional opponents.
Every game they play, except one, in the next 5 weeks is against a divisional opponent. And the one that they don't play in the division is in San Francisco.
Every game remaining on their schedule is against a team that will be playing for the playoffs.
Are we sure the Seahawks will be?
No, not by December 26th.
Yes, but that's the only one.
Right.
That's the only one.
That's their quote-unquote easiest game. Yeah. The vibes are bad. I don't see them getting better anytime soon.
Well, they changed your offensive coordinator, Josh.
To who? What genius did they bring in?
No idea. I genuinely don't know.
I believe they made like their special teams coordinator or something.
Thomas Brown.
Oh, yes, Thomas Brown. Oh, he's the passing game coordinator. Okay.
Yep. I'm sure it'll go real well for Thomas Brown.
What's your favorite Thomas Brown pillar of his passing game?
I don't know what Thomas Brown does.
Okay. Well, he played for the Falcons and the Browns.
I remember Thomas Brown as a football player. Yeah.
Do you? I don't, and I'm okay admitting that freely to everyone.
Yeah, Thomas Brown.
What's he done? He's been the running backs coach at Marshall. 2014, he was the running backs coach at Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wisconsin probably pretty good in 2014.
2014, they had very good running backs that year, as Nebraska can attest to. Ever heard of Melvin Gordon running for 408 yards in a single football game? Thomas Brown oversaw that whole thing.
Oh, Thomas Brown was the Panthers OC last year.
See? That's a pretty good body of work by Thomas Brown.
A combination of 3 and 5.
Number 3.
Number 3, the stinky New York Giants. They're 2-8. They've lost 5 straight. They lost to the Panthers in a war crime of a football game that we sent over to Germany because there was no way America would be able to contain themselves over Giants-Panthers. It was a football game that was such an atrocity. They said, let's do more of this game. Let's play an overtime period.
Yeah, but did you see Sean Hockley do the call in German?
I did.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so. And having no real knowledge of the German language, seemed like he was doing it right.
Did you see them all sing Sweet Caroline loudly?
Oh, no, I did not do this.
And Country Roads Take Me Home? They must think.
The Giants are lazy as hell. What are they doing?
The Germans must think that we're
idiots.
Yeah. Here's these 2 songs. They're both, well, Country Roads Take Me Home is a good song. Sweet Caroline, horrible.
Do the Giants play those games at games?
I don't think so. I just think that's what they think of America.
Like
let's play these songs because the Americans do it.
Okay.
You know, one of those things.
That's fair.
And they're not wrong.
No.
They're not wrong.
Machine Gun Kelly performed at halftime.
Unfortunately, they are correct.
Soon to be father Machine Gun Kelly. Did I read that this morning?
Oh boy, I don't.
Seems like a terrible idea.
Wow, really? Megan Fox?
Yeah. I believe she posted something. You look up that and I'll tell you that the Giants have
Yep,
lost.
you got it. Expecting a baby.
Congrats to the Mr. and Mrs. MGK.
Yep.
They've lost 6 of 7, have the Giants. They're last in points. You want to be towards the top of the league in points. 15.6, probably not going to cut it per game. Just my personal opinion.
By the way, John emails in on the subject of Thomas Brown.
Hi, John.
Melvin Gordon did not run for 400 plus yards in a single football game. He did it in 3/4 of a football game. Remember?
Damn it!
I do. Vividly.
Still hurts.
Vividly.
Every time. Number 2.
Here comes 2.
Number 2.
Bottom 5 NFL teams. Number 2. We stay in New York to laugh at the Jets. Top 10 defense, though.
Ha! Ha! Ha!
They've lost 6 of 7. Remember when they beat the Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football, and all the Jets fans couldn't tell you were an idiot quick enough? You were an idiot for doubting this team.
See,
Am I?
I find it interesting that your disdain is pointed at Jets fans. I actually think that group deserves better. I like to laugh at the Jets because of Rodgers.
Well, that's where it starts. That's where it ends. And in between, I like to go out and make fun of all things Jets before coming back in.
I actually feel bad for that group. I'm sorry. I feel bad for the Jets fans.
There was a tweet I saw.
They can't do anything right.
During the break, I saw a tweet.
Good luck.
Yeah, probably not coming up.
No.
I will paraphrase the tweet because I can't remember which Jets beat writer said this. Aaron Rodgers has said that the last 3 weeks, this team has had its best weeks of practice.
Nice.
And I laughed and I laughed.
It's tough. It's tough.
Just not translating to on the field wins.
Oh, yeah. You're close, though.
Yeah, they're winning the rep, though. That's good.
Just
where
got
you
to
wanna
get a
be.
couple winnable games.
That's right. That's right. They do play the Colts on Sunday.
Oh, somebody's got to lose.
That's right. 2 bottom 5 teams playing each other.
I suppose they could tie. It'd be funny.
That would be hilarious. Look, we're all here for one reason and one reason only.
Glory hole.
Want to make fun of them Cowboys.
Make it so, number one.
Number 1.
We them boys.
Just checking to see if y'all still them boys.
I did finally see the picture of the curtains that they put up on the windows for WrestleMania. Hilarious. Also, did you see the press conference yesterday
where they had a sun blocker? Yeah, I did.
What is up with them and the sun?
If you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're going to drag your feet on putting a curtain up in the games, you cannot put a curtain up during the press conference. You got to sit in it.
Is it funnier that they didn't simply put the blinds down in a room that clearly had the ability to have blinds, or that they got an individual sun blocker like Mike McCarthy was a kid sitting in the back in the child seat of a car and the sun was on them and you didn't want him to get the sun on them, and that they kept it on the media didn't get the sun blockers.
Nope. Literally just for the shot, quote unquote.
That is hilarious.
So the Cowboys are the laughing stock of the league right now. They are constantly getting blown out.
They are. A lot of stock.
Here is why what was the take in NFL reaction, overreaction? I know we got to get going here. Are they the worst? Here's why I think they're like the worst team in the league. There's no help coming. It's only going to get worse. Dak is out for the year. Cooper Rush is terrible. They're going to do the Trey Lance game and see what they got there. They're going to find out that they don't have anything there. There's no help coming.
No.
And we get to watch the Cowboys and the Giants on Thanksgiving.
And Jera is going to continue being the owner as long as he lives.
Mm-hmm. Which could be forever.
It could be a long time. Long time.
Maybe it will be.
One email from Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Subject line, Germans. Quote, the Germans must think we're idiots. Connor, we are idiots.
That's fair.
Good self-scout, Matt.
Poll question, are we idiots?
Are we idiots? It's a good one. Probably will come back more than 90% yes, would be my guess. All right, we'll come back with Jacob Bigelow. Sorry, we're pressing the basketball button.
Hit it!
On 1620 The Zone.
heating up.
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire.
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka.
Oh, the finger never comes off the hoops button for our next guest, Jacob Bigelow, because even when Nebraska is playing some not so good opponents, Jacob's like, all right, well, we got the best college basketball game of the early season 2 hours away, and I'm going. And our guest is Jacob Bigelow, and he joins us on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, Hap. Yeah, if you need the basketball button to push, I offer my big ass head as the basketball button that you can press in case of emergency. But I am here. And yeah, I had quite the Friday night with an early candidate for Game of the Year in college basketball down at Allen Fieldhouse.
How good was Allen Fieldhouse on that particular night?
Oh, it was incredible, man. I mean, this is just my second game there. I was there a couple years ago when they played Indiana, but that was on another level. They just unveiled some new renovations, new sound system, so it was loud as hell, music and people. It felt like a big game all day down there, and then it lived up to the billing, even though it was a little bit of a tension convention late with Carolina coming back from down 20, but that made the ending all that more electric. So, I can't recommend that place enough.
So here's what you get to return to before we talk about Nebraska. Here's what's on tap tomorrow in our lovely state. We have Fairleigh Dickinson at Nebraska, and we have Houston Christian at Creighton. These two games, so KenPom does their little, they do like their game predictor, like their thrill score in advantage or in advance, like here's how good these games are going to be. These are 2 out of the 4 least exciting games in college basketball that involve 2 but Division I programs tomorrow night. 2 out of the worst 4 in the country. And there's a lot of bad basketball going around across the country. This is exciting.
That is very true. It is still November after all. You get the Champions Classic double dip tonight to, give you a little, I think this is the penultimate Champions Classic. I think this is the second to last year they're going to do it. So you got that going tonight down in Atlanta. And then, it's November college basketball still being November college basketball around here, at least for this week. And then, then we can talk about next week once next week's here. But yeah, for the time being, still a little sleepy in the local slate.
Next week is one of my favorite weeks. I can't wait until that week. But we will hold off for another couple of days. What's your level of concern right now with Nebraska basketball? How high is it?
It is about I'm gonna stand right in the middle. I'm at a 5 right now, and that's still.
What are you usually at? Like a 2 or a 3?
That's a good question. I mean, it definitely depends on the day. I definitely picked the right game to not be at on Saturday night. Maybe my concern would be a little higher if I had been in the building for what transpired at PBA on Saturday. But by all accounts, I've made this comparison a couple times. I mean, they look like a team that, they picked captain for a pickup run, and they're still like, that dude looks like he can shoot. That dude looks like he can play. I want him. Like, let's try and see how this works. Like, they're still definitely getting used to each other, especially on the offensive end. There's been some good signs defensively, but and you'd hope that with their post depth and just how big they are. They're a big team, but they're still not all that athletic. And for a Fred Hoiberg team, they have not shown a propensity for making threes. So you're thankful that you're only 2 games into the season, but after tomorrow, it gets turned up to 11 on Sunday, and then next week.
Yeah, 10 of 41, I believe, through 2 games from 3-point land. I don't even, and you know what's funny, Jacob? Like, I don't even know if that's the primary concern. You could look at that and say, oh, well, it's 2 games, it's a small sample size, and they have some guys who can shoot it, and so that number will progress to the mean at some point. But like, if you were to say, all right, this is the one stat that is sort of alarming through these two games. Is it that, or do you go somewhere else?
I'd go to the turnovers, especially the dead ball turnovers, and when Raleigh Worcester having 5 of them against Bethune-Cookman. I forget how many he had against UTRGV, but I mean, you would hope that with going from no true point guard to 2 true point guards, that you wouldn't have to worry about turnovers being a problem. And obviously, Fred Hoiberg, he alluded to this yesterday when he roasted my boy Wilson in the presser, and told him he asked a really good question for asking about like the balance between overreacting and adjusting to just what is 80 minutes of basketball when there's plenty of time left. But obviously there's things to work on and things to address, and I think first and foremost is turnovers, and that classic coaching cliche of doing the little things right, which you hope with a team as experienced and guys who have played power conference basketball as much as they have should hopefully be an easy fix.
Yeah, Jacob Bigelow's with us. Hey, what do you think the ceiling is for this group offensively? Just going, it's once again really early. Going off of what you've seen so far, and they're, as you mentioned, they're still putting the pieces together. But if this thing is humming on offense, what does it look like?
I think Bryce Williams is getting you in the neighborhood of 17, 18, and then you're hoping that one of the 2 Big Ten transfers can get it going from beyond the arc, and Connor Artesian and Gavin Griffiths, because I think that's what they were brought in to do. 2 guys that know the league, know the conference, what it takes to win games, and then 2 guys who you hoped in the offseason, going from playing from Greg Gard and Steve Peichel to playing for Fred Hoiberg, could maybe play a little bit of shot doctor and give them more opportunities to be in a free-flowing open offense and get going from 3. And I think those 2 are kind of my keys to what could raise the ceiling. Because they need somebody to get going from 3. Those are your 2 leading candidates in my opinion, are those 2. But and then if they're not making shots, like I don't know if they're going to be on the court, because they've got 10 viable dudes who have shown that they can play, whether it's at Nebraska or at their previous stops. But I think the shot making of Griffiths and Artesian is going to be paramount for this team going forward.
Yeah. Do you think that they've generated good enough shots so far? Like I'm trying to get to the bottom of this 3-point number, and coaches will say afterwards, like, yeah, we got good shots, we just didn't make them, and that's like that is a totally. Like I understand that answer, and I think that projects well going forward. Do you think they've generated enough good shots so far?
There were some questionable ones in the opener. I haven't gone back and watched the entirety of Saturday night yet, but I mean, I think that there's some guy. I mean, there's some guys on the roster who, when they're taking threes, you still kind of wince a little bit. Like there's a reason you're open out there, and I know Fred Hoiberg wants his guys to play freely, and he wants them to put up the best shot that they can find. But I mean, then it's I think they are, and then there are times where I think they aren't. Like it's a weird group. Like plain and simple, it is kind of an odd group because you've got guys who I know want to play in the mid-range like Worcester and Williams, but that's the antithesis of Fred Hoiberg basketball. I think Bryce Williams is he's got to be a dude, and this kind of is starting to eerily remind me of one of those Palmer Miles teams where it's like if Palmer's not on, who's going to score and who's going to pick up the slack? Because you've got one bona fide dude, and then you've got a bunch of supporting casts who need to step up and pick up some slack if your go-to guy's having an off night.
So Wednesday night or tomorrow night will be tomorrow night. We'll see what it looks like against FDU. I don't think that's that formidable of an opponent, but we'll see what Nebraska is able to do with that. I didn't think that much of UTRGV or Bethune-Cookman either, and those games ended up being relatively close. But what is at stake on Sunday when Nebraska goes to Sioux Falls and plays against St. Mary's?
I mean, it's their best chance for a marquee non-con win. And that's St. Mary's. St. Mary's wanting to travel all this way to basically be playing a road game in basically a high school gym. I mean, it's going to be all Nebraska fans on a Sunday afternoon. That's their best chance for a resume booster in this non-con slate. And Randy Bennett is always going to be. They're always going to be running good offense. They're always going to be super fundamentally sound. They're going to do all the little things that have plagued Nebraska through their first 2 games. They're going to do them all right. So the margin for error against a team that operates as precise as St. Mary's is so slim.
Yeah.
And Nebraska is going to have the crowd on their side. But I mean, they can't just be energy. They can't just be playing off the vibes. They're gonna have to get off the bus, ready to go and ready to play, because that's by far their best chance for a neutral site non-con win against a very good team. That'll be that'll most likely hear their names called on Selection Sunday.
It's funny because it's November college basketball, and just made the joke about November college basketball, but Nebraska has two big games in the next 10 days basically when you include St. Mary's and Creighton, and it does get real fast. You have those two conference games at the beginning of December, which is just a couple weeks away. Not that it really any of the rest of their non-con slate is anything to write home about, but like all of a sudden, if you drop those two, which if you look at KenPom right now, it says 39% chance against St. Mary's and 17% against Creighton, then your margin for error in the non-con becomes 0 at that point. You have to win all of the rest of your games.
Yeah, absolutely. And that includes the weirdo Christmas week tournament that they're in out in Hawaii. I mean, there's a lot of, solid, mid-majors out on that field, and I'm not trying to, toot up, I'm not trying to toot the horn of that tournament, for the sake of, Nebraska being in it. But I mean, Murray State's a solid mid-major. So is Charlotte. If you're Nebraska, you're hoping you match up with Charleston or Loyola. Probably those be your two best resume, teams in that tournament. And still, it's not a power opponent. So you're just hoping that that's how the cards fall. But I mean, yeah, exactly. If they go 0-2, Sunday and Friday, I mean, you have no room for a bye game loss. And then, December 1st, you've got a team in North Florida who will be coming into your arena that's already beaten two power conference teams on the road in South Carolina and Georgia Tech. So, I mean, it kind of could get rustled up and dialed up depending on how the next 10 days go for Nebraska basketball.
All right, Jacob. Great stuff. You're working hard. You're everywhere. Are you in the state of Nebraska this weekend to watch basketball, or are you in Sioux Falls?
Funny enough, I am not in the state on Saturday. I will be down in Maryville, Missouri for some Northwest Missouri State football, but then I will be in Sioux Falls on Sunday. So I am just logging the miles. I'm just going everywhere, man. But that's my plan for the weekend.
Good deal. All right. See you later, man. Thanks.
Yep, appreciate it. Have a good rest of the show.
That is Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big Pod. He's also on the After Nebrasketball show on the I-80 Club. Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this. I've seen this.
He's talking hoops, man.
Non-stop. And he's got a big boy photo.
That's right.
On the bottom,
That's
on
right.
the lower third.
Got headshots. It's good stuff.
Look at our man. Look at our man.
Early thought on Creighton and Nebraska next Friday, Josh? I know people aren't ready to do this yet. I know they're not.
It is going to be a quick shift, a quick turnaround for...
It is, because usually that game happens the first weekend in December, or even into the second. But this year it happens a week before Thanksgiving. Before Black Friday. Pain? For who? Ryan Kalkbrenner again? Will Derek Walker show up and start scoring all over the place?
I do, and Kenneth agrees with me here. I do think Creighton is going to win by a number that is not quite the number.
He's 29-30.
Yeah,
oh no, it's the 1 year anniversary of that.
I will go Creighton by 19 or 24.
I don't know. I don't know.
Really? Are
happen.
you doing a thing right now?
This is not a bit.
Okay.
This is not a bit. I obviously trust Creighton a lot more.
Uh-huh.
But they both have problems.
Oh, there's some holes on that Creighton team.
Creighton is dealing with I don't think this is a problem on their team, but based on their expectations, they're oh, well, they're going to be top 2 in the Big East, and the Big East, by the way, does not seem good this year.
It does not.
Does not. There might be, you know how DePaul exists?
I do know how DePaul exists. Yes.
Well, Seton Hall exists now, and Villanova exists now, and Butler, Butler might be a little better, but
a lot of teams getting got.
Yeah. Not so good. Anyway, Creighton's got some stuff to work out. They got some rotations to figure out. They got to play better defense. They were a little better the other night. We'll see what Nebraska does with FDU tomorrow.
We will see that.
If you have BTN Plus, I guess.
Oh, man, I don't.
So you won't see it. You might hear about it, though. You might hear about it.
I'll have to watch.
You might hear about it a lot if it goes a certain way.
I'll have to watch I-80 Club and let them.
There you go.
I'll be a sponge for their basketball knowledge.
You got it, Josh.
That's right.
All right, we're back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Josh, we were just talking about our busy show on Thursday.
Busy.
So we're going to have a bunch of stuff. I mean, we'll have a USC writer,
Scott
University
Wolf.
of Southern California, Scott Wolf. Yeah.
That's right.
He'll
Not
join
the
show.
actor, Scott Wolf.
Coach Max coming on Thursday. Coach Max coming on.
If they beat Houston Christian.
Yeah, because that would be bad. We would not want to have him on if they lost to Houston Christian.
We would have no questions for him if they lost to Houston Christian.
I would not want to do that. But also we have Grunt the Slate. We have Steelers, Ravens. We got Commanders, Eagles on Thursday. And we have maybe the biggest matchup of the NFL season.
Oh, yes.
It's Chiefs Bills week.
Ow.
Pre-grunt, Josh.
Just a little preview for Thursday.
Chiefs Bills. It's either going to go one of two. I mean, it's a narrative game, obviously, for Josh Allen, but for nobody else.
Yeah.
If the Bills could win. The Bills might win by like 3 touchdowns or something like that, and people will be like, "All right, perfect." It's Josh Allen time. But then it's a regular season; they'll play each other in the playoffs, and Josh Allen will lose. And then,
why'd we give that guy the MVP?
Or the Chiefs win in some absurd, inevitable way, again, where they've invented some rule that nobody knew about to take advantage of, and they'll win. Can't wait to find out on Sunday. Here's a fun stat for you, Josh.
I love fun stats.
So we got the Wisconsin-Nebraska kickoff time yesterday.
We did. People forget.
2:30.
BTN.
Which means Big Red Overreaction will happen at about 6.
Yeah.
Which means me and Josh Peterson will be here for Big Red Overreaction that day. And
doing a show together.
We'll be out of here by 8, and then we'll talk to you from Vegas on Monday.
That's right.
Exciting stuff.
Hoopsgiving.
It'll be a holiday hoopsgiving. Exactly. So the 2:30 Wisconsin game means that we have all of Nebraska's game times for this year. Remember when we were so obsessed with all the game times and we were guessing all the game times?
It was the only thing I cared about.
I know.
I'm not exaggerating.
I know. And now we actually get the game time in the 12-day window or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, they hired a new offensive coordinator. I could care less. Play the game at 4:00 in the morning. So officially, Nebraska will only have 3 games that start at noon or 11 a.m. Central this year.
That's because Ohio State played all the games at noon.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. So they were all Nebraska's 11 a.m. games were on the road this year.
Oh,
they play a single 11 a.m. home game this year.
Well, that's good though, right? That's what the fans want.
I don't know what the fans want anymore.
They just
maybe this
complain.
is a good time to.
What do you want?
What kickoff times?
What? Oh,
we do. What do you want? Period. But what do you want kickoff times wise? Like if it's I'm giving you that it's a Nebraska home game. And you're probably going to ask, okay, well, is it a conference game? Is it a big game? Is it what do we have?
Big games at night, everything else at 2:30.
I think if you were to draw it up, that's pretty good. Like if you were to tell me Nebraska had 3 noon games this year, one of them, they were all on the road.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was a big noon game. I guess 2 of them were big noon games against Indiana and Ohio State. So they were big broadcast windows, right? Meaning you're playing in big games. And the other one was Purdue, wasn't it?
That was an 11 a.m. game.
The other game was Purdue. And they have no 11 a.m. home games. Like, I'm signing up for that. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's good because you got a bunch of night games. You had a Friday night game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Love a Friday night game as a one-off.
I like it as a one-off.
I tell you what, I appreciated it on Saturday when I sat on my butt and watched college football the whole day.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Didn't have the stress of what's going to happen today.
Aside from the results, if you try to keep the results separate, that was a good schedule this year. Nice schedule, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good take. I like this take.
Now, what do you think Ohio State thinks? They
want to burn the place down.
They will play each of their last 6 games at noon Eastern, 11 Central, and 7 total on the year for them when you include their one early game in the early portion of the season. Then they had another primetime game, obviously, against Oregon at night, and they're lucky that was the week that Fox traded, and they're lucky that game was on the West Coast because that would have been a big noon kickoff as well. There's a reason why Gus Johnson is sick of this crap. Even he gets sick of the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes.
I understand 5 of 6 games on Big Noon is excessive, but how have fan bases not wrapped their head around being on at noon on Big Noon Fox is a good thing? Why do we always hear the complaint?
Fans don't care about that. Fans of the individual institutions don't, and frankly shouldn't care about that. They should be worried about their own, like they don't care how many people are going to watch it on TV.
Kegs and eggs. Play football.
Yeah.
Get the rest of your day.
I'm fine with how it turned out.
For Nebraska, absolutely.
Fine with how it turned out.
Ohio State fans sound like they're in hell.
Are they really? Are they mad about this?
Oh, they're pissed.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
Like, why are we at noon again? Why are we at noon again?
Well, because
you're good.
Because you're the biggest brand in the conference, possibly in the country.
That isn't
your
on the
conference
West
is
Coast.
owned by Fox.
Oregon can't play at noon at home.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy. Why? If they're asking the question why, they should probably know the answer to why. I get you an answer. It's because you're really good, and the conference is literally owned by Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna put you on there all the time. By the way, have you seen speaking of Fox, have you seen the shade that Kevin Warren's been getting today?
No.
So people are now holding Kevin Warren responsible for ruining the Bears. I would argue that the Bears were ruined long before Kevin Warren got
Seems like there have been problems there before he walked through the door.
But obviously he was, didn't have a great run as the commissioner of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And now is in charge of the Bears, is the president of the Bears. I've just seen some Kevin Warren stuff going around today, and I remembered that he existed, and I kind of enjoyed it. It's good. It's good. I don't think we have enough time to discuss if Nebraska can run this offense in the Big Ten. So we'll hold that topic.
Holding.
But that was there.
There will be time.
That was there. Pedro writes in on the text line.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. I want all Friday night games.
Whoa.
Pedro is ready to make the change. I got to be honest with you. I like
bit of a grind on the front end, but it's nice on the back end.
I really loved Nebraska playing separate and then watching all of the other college football games. I heard John make the point yesterday at the start of their show of like, I didn't really miss Nebraska not playing this weekend. Some of that is we have a little bit of fatigue as the season's now, of course, turned into its predictable but unpredictable grind, as it always does.
With the outcomes before the bye week, yes, it was. Yep. It was maybe time.
I was
for a
ready to
break.
watch some other games. I was ready to watch some other games for sure. Jeremiah.
Hi, Jeremiah.
Remember Pie Beats Cake?
Oh yes, of course.
He checks in.
Hi, Pie Beats Cake.
Just made it back from my home state of California, and I decided to drive.
Whoa.
I thought I was going to pass away the other night in winter storm somewhere in Wyoming on the freeway.
Gross.
But I didn't. It's a blessing to be back and great to hear you guys on the radio. Voice to text, baby. That's what that tweet says.
Get home safe, Jeremiah.
And he's back. He's back home now.
Okay.
Ran into that storm that went through the Rockies.
I don't want to talk about that.
Snow. Get ready, Josh. It's November 12th.
Shut your mouth.
It is November 12th. This show today has been full of bringing you things that you're going to start hearing about soon, and I want to prepare you for.
There are certain weather people that work for certain weather channels that are saying
scare tactics
next week.
Seems hard to believe, but it is November 12th.
Mm-hmm.
If it snowed on November 19th, would that be a crime? No. I'd argue that it wouldn't.
Theoretically, no.
It gets dark at 4:00 now.
Disgusting.
This is our lives.
Why do
and
we live
we're
here?
Counting down the days. We're going Jack Mitchell mode. We're counting down the days, lopping off the weeks until the middle to the end of March, but more realistically to the middle of April.
You and Jack have changed my world outlook with the ripping off weeks thing.
Trying to get to the next thing.
Every Sunday, look at that 7-day.
Yep.
You see anything? Nope. Rip it off.
Looking good.
You're a week closer. Like, wow. What a great way to look at it.
We're in it. We're just at the start. Don't start counting down yet.
No.
Put yourself in a
That would
bad
be
spot.
silly if you were counting down something right now.
We have polls.
Polls.
We will get to them on the other side. Tell you what to watch on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. All right, to the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We had one from yesterday in the crossover.
Sure did.
Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, a dork or a nerd?
Great question.
Dork, absolutely.
Yeah.
63% say dork.
Oh, okay.
Not often we have a non-yes, no.
Right.
Dork nerd was the option this time around. All right, to today. Do you love a finger in the ear hole? That sounds a little weird now.
Definitely.
So do I have to vote no to this?
I would think you would be against that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. 77% say no. Are kids too lazy to do a wet willy?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
74% say yes. Do you deserve the soap?
Oh, yeah. I think I do.
Every day I give myself the right to soap myself. 68% say yes. And finally, are we idiots?
This will be the most unanimity we can get.
What do you think?
As a show?
I'm gonna go over 85.
I'm gonna go over 92.5.
94.3.
Okay. I wanted to say 95. Just wasn't confident.
You're gonna get there, it appears. If these numbers are tracking right, the early exits have
They're calling it. They're calling it already.
They're calling the race. Not too early to call.
Nope.
Josh, those are the polls. What are we watching tonight?
We're watching college football, Connor. What is this, Maction?
Yeah, we're not watching that.
What weirdo conference are these teams in?
I'm taking a break from football tonight.
Ball State and Buffalo, 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. That do anything for you?
No, it does not.
Western Michigan at Bowling Green, 6 o'clock ESPN2.
No.
Central Michigan at Toledo, 6 o'clock ESPNU.
Nope.
Well, no football for Connor tonight.
No, because I'll be busy. You're about to tell us why.
I will. We'll get there. First of all, the men's basketball. Champions Classic in Atlanta. Michigan State against number 1 Kansas, 5:30 on ESPN. Number 6 Duke against number 19 Kentucky at 8 o'clock. Not immediately following, because in between those two games, the college football playoff rankings reveal show at 7:30.
Here we go.
What better thing to have in between the two basketball games?
So was it only so early last week because of the election?
Yes.
Why don't they do that every week? Put must-watch TV at 6.
Or, I don't know, maybe don't do this in the middle of two basketball games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Iowa hosts South Dakota, 8 o'clock on BTN.
Oh, interesting.
Followed at 10 o'clock by Portland at Oregon.
Oh.
10 o'clock.
In-state rivalry.
That's right. The women play tonight. Women love this show and this station, and we love them platonically.
We love women.
Number 21, Nebraska hosts Southern at 7 o'clock on Big Ten Plus. Connor.
That's where Connor Happer will be.
That's right. And you're going to love it. And you're going to report
I
back.
am very excited.
Mm-hmm. The Juju Watkins show is on at 9 on Big Ten Plus.
No, it's USC Hate Week. We can't.
That's true. But I will. So to stay away, I'll tell you so you can stay away from it. Number 3 USC hosts Cal State Northridge. Connor, the NBA Cup starts tonight. Another NBA
is this what they're
Cup.
calling the midseason tournament?
That's right. They changed the name of it.
It's starting already?
It is starting already, yes. You get those wacko court designs tonight.
Oh, my God.
Now, this is pool play. Remember your NBA Cup format. I'm sure you do.
Pool play.
Knicks, Sixers, 6:30 on TNT, followed by Mavericks at the Warriors. It is Clay's return to Golden State. Is over under 15.5. Interesting line. Might like the over.
We'll check back on that tomorrow.
NHL, 2 games on. The Winnipeg Jets are at the Garden tonight to take on the Rangers, 6 o'clock. Winnipeg is an NHL best 14-1. No team has ever started better in the history of that league.
Wow.
Than the Winnipeg Jets.
Go Jets.
And then 6:30 on Hulu, the Florida Panthers host the New Jersey Devils.
Watch out for them devil now.
That's right. And
I
finally,
almost forgot the phrase. Watch out for them devil now.
Finally, on Disney Plus, it is the streaming premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and a reluctant Wolverine team up to face an existential threat.
Hey, so when's this Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight?
Friday night, when all great boxing events take place.
People are talking about this a lot.
They are, and
I hope Mike Tyson injures him.
That is not what he signed up for.
Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
It's not what Mike Tyson signed up for?
That's right. Here's $10 million. Take a dive. What do you care?
No,
Your
he can't
legacy
lose.
is
No,
set.
he can't lose.
He will.
He can't lose.
He will absolutely lose. He signed up to lose. This is wrestling posing as boxing.
Whatever federation that governs this would have to step in if he loses.
Your legacy is secure, Mike. You don't need to beat this Yahoo in a fight. He needs to beat you so he can go, I beat Mike Tyson. Keep watching my fights.
That would be horrible.
Yeah. America needs to get comfortable with this. Do I want it to happen? No. Do I think that's what's going to happen? Yes.
Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
Now you triggered me.
Thank you, America.
Right as the show ends. That's it for us. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.